you leaving with a legacy before you go.
The Fall Circuit Championship comes to an end right here. Welcome. Thanks for joining us wherever you're joining us, especially on twitch.tv/PlayStation. Alongside baseball streamer and writer Paul Spohr, I'm Robert Flores from MLB Network. And Paul, this is an exciting next step in the evolution of this game title.
It really is. The competitive community's on fire, and they absolutely deserve this. Tons up for grabs today. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 2 semifinals for you, and then ultimately the championship. Let's show you the bracket. This is 3 innings, best of 5 series in the semifinal brackets. And then once we have our 2 finalists, the championship series, once again, 3 innings with a best of 7 series. So this is what we have in store for you this afternoon. Our first semifinal will be Yadier against Mcgregor, and then Eminent against KK Klusman 01. This is a $25,000 prize pool, so the players are virtual, but the competition is real, and so are the dollars. $15,000 first place prize winner. Our second place finisher will go home with $5,000 all the way down to $2,000 for our fourth place finisher. And if you want to get a chance to test your skills on the sticks against some of the world's best, you can go to compete.playstation.com. We also want to remind you, guys, it is Griffey Week in MLB The Show 20, and what a perfect time to have a stub sale all the way until Wednesday, up to 50% off. So definitely take advantage of that. And the game itself, the Standard Edition, 50% off through Wednesday. So definitely take advantage of that. All right, Paul, for those players that are watching, they're probably pretty good. They definitely love this game. But if they want to get a little bit better, what advice would you give them?
They got to sharpen up the hitting. All the folks that we're going to see here and many that aren't participating are excellent hitters. They have patience at the dish. They're not swinging first, second pitch. They're letting their opposition come to them, and they don't panic. They go down a few runs. They get back in the game all the time.
Now, our 4 players are obviously elite, some of the world's best at this particular game. What should we expecting in our 2 semifinals and then ultimately the championship series?
Well, going off the theme of hitting, we're going to see a ton of scoring. And you know, Robert, that we're going to be living in Ship It today. So we're probably going to see home runs galore and expect those comebacks. If someone goes down 4 or 5 runs, they're not out of it, even in a 3-inning game.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Ship It. I've given up a lot of runs at Ship It over the past season, but definitely a lot of offense. And I'm also interested, Paul, to see, this is obviously a battle royale format, so the players have drafted. I'm interested to see how rosters are constructed.
Think Battle Royale 2019 and before, though, because pitcher stamina is not part of it. So you can get 2-3 strong pitchers and use them every single game, and that's going to be huge. It's also on Hall of Fame, which is a little different. Battle Royale is on All-Star. So it's a little bit of a tuned-up throwback Battle Royale. So I think we'll see some heavy pitching and a lot of sneak hitters. Bronzes, silvers that we're really used to finding out how great they are. There are going to be some sneak tip players there. You're not going to see as many diamond hitters as you expect.
All right, so we're getting ready for our first semifinal. It will be Yadier against Mcgregor. Our Yadier is a 6-year veteran of this game. Mcgregor is a 5-year veteran. And Paul, as you might expect with that name, Yadier, he's a big St. Louis Cardinal fan, big Yadier Molina fan.
Yeah, no surprise there. Yeah, a little bit of an easy route to the semifinal here by getting a few buys and then face your friend Kyle, one of the best players in the entire community. Caught a lot of breaks going his way, but hey, he got here. Now it's time to step up and see what he can do in the semis.
Yeah, 3 innings. Once again, best of 5 is the series in our 2 semifinals, and then our championship is a best of 7. I was looking at the survey that Yadier had printed out or had filled out, and he mentioned that he wants diamond pitchers. That is definitely a key for him. He says diamond pitchers are a must for him. What do you think about that?
And that's what I'm talking about there, because they know these players have bronze and silver hitters that they can turn to. So they're going to stack the big pitchers. They're going to be able to use them every single game. And then they're going to have these guys like Miguel Sano, Mike Moustakas, Ian Happ, Yohan Moncada going off as silvers and bronzes. And that's where a lot of the offense is going to come from. So I expect to see that from all 4 participants. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw diamond pitchers throughout.
And Eminent is another member of our semifinals foursome here. Paul, he is a college baseball player. He's only played this franchise for a couple of years, so maybe he's able to apply some of his real-world expertise to the virtual world.
And maybe he reaches out to a friend, Juan Soto, who knows his cousin and FaceTimes with him often. Maybe he can just get a few tips from Juan Soto. I don't know. If Juan Soto comes up in the draft, is he obligated to pick him? I think that would be kind of interesting. But he does want to build his team off of good silver and gold relievers. So, again, focused on that pitching while letting the hitting be more of the silvers and bronzes.
All right, and special shout out to members of the chat. I'm following along, so everyone work and play well with others. Twitch.tv/PlayStation. I think that the key takeaway for me from watching some of these players is that they get to everything. There is no safe place where these hitters can't do damage. All right, here we go. Yadier is the home team. He's going with Nate Pearson. And then McGrayhound going with Brendan Mckay, a bronze starter here, Paul.
Sneak tip hitter, though, too. That's the beauty, is because he can actually hit a little bit. So you might have a good opportunity there if he comes up, although I doubt he'll be in the game long enough to actually hit. So it's going to be interesting to see what we got here.
All right, so we're underway. Yadier will be he is the home team. And McGrayhound will
records.
Yeah, they obviously play a lot. All right, so we're underway here, about to get underway. 3 innings. Best of 5 in the semifinal round. Enjoy. Here we go. Michael Conforto leading off for McGrayhound. Good solid contact, base hit up the middle.
Conforto's an excellent card. He's always been a prime silver. Now that he's lived in the gold area, he's still a BR god that you have to look at.
And here's Claver Torres. McGrayhound said this is the hitter he had to have, and he bounces into a double play here, Paul.
I tell you what, that goes back to what I said. Usually we see a lot of patience. First pitch swinging, double play gets him right out of that single there from Conforto.
All right. So here is Robinson Cano. All right, so McGrayhound is actually in the field.
I believe it's right. I believe this is Yadier. Cano was also a great silver, got upgraded to gold this year. For all the guys that the Mets got upgraded, it's kind of surprising that they had such a bad season on the field. Sorry, Mets fans, it's true.
So Robinson Cano fouling off another pitch, down in the count 1-2.
Fighting. Ooh, 102 right down the pipe. Robert, one thing to keep an eye on is look at these insane averages that these guys put up. Yeah, so I believe that was indeed Yadier in the field there, and he's batting now, based on the team name.
All right, so here's Yadier. Brendan Mckay facing Xavier Edwards.
Xavier Edwards had some notoriety for something off the field past offseason. Can't really get into it, but you know. If you know, you know.
Well, he flies out to center, and that's out number 1.
Robert, you know what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
David Dahl, this is one of my favorite cards. Absolute stud.
And we saw Nate Pearson with his elite velocity. Here's Brendan Mckay, once again a bronze starter. 1-0. Misses there, but it looked like it caught the corner, but he's falling behind 2-0.
And that's a big thing that we're going to have to see here. We're going to run this down the line for an easy double, but we do not have perfect umpires. So you saw a clear strike there, label the ball, and that can turn the tides here. It could be a little bit volatile. 3-inning games are already pretty volatile, and you have imperfect umpires, could turn the tables at times.
All right, so early trouble here. Oh, Ian Happ smokes one, but it's going to be foul.
I called out Ian Happ specifically. I love this card. He's awesome. He's a little bit tilted in his ratings, but it doesn't matter. He can crush righties and lefties, and there's one in the gap.
And this may fall, and that is extra bases, and it's over the wall for a ground rule double. A run does score, and it's 1-0. So a pitching change. Casey Mize out of the pen.
Now, was this the Diamond Mize? I actually missed it when he came in. It was so quick.
Yeah, me too. Here's Jonathan Scope. Flies out,
if you play Battle
tagging
Royale,
and headed for third.
If you play Battle Royale, you know about Scope's greatness. He's been a long-time BR stud.
And here's Mitch Moreland, silver player. From the right side.
Moreland destroys righties. See, he doesn't want any part of it either. That's an interesting move, though, because he brings up Luis Robert, who's also insane. Another card that upgraded from silver this year, actually from bronze to silver to gold. He's been great throughout, though. You can use him no matter what.
Ooh, that fastball caught a lot of the plate, and he may got lucky. It's going to be a fly ball to center field, and that retires the side, but a run does score, and after one, it's 1-0.
So it could have been some trouble there, but he ends up keeping it down to 1 there for Mcgregor. That's big there because Moreland could have gone yard, turned it 3-0 in a heartbeat.
All right, so here we go. Here's Mitch Garver facing Nate Pearson.
Garver, Tellez, Pollock coming up here. 3 silvers, all BR gods.
Sends that one foul. Evens the count 1-1.
If you're Yadier, you're trying to get at least 2 full innings out of Pearson. And obviously the stamina doesn't carry over, but starter stamina is a little tough in Battle Royale. So we'll see how far into this game he can get.
As you see some activity
nice
in the bullpen for Mcgregor. You like the bullpen pieces, Paul?
Yeah, there were some interesting silvers there. I noticed Diego Castillo, Jake Diekman, Nate Jones, who I'm actually not good with, but I'm not good with a lot of players because I'm terrible. But a lot of folks are good with Nate Jones.
And he draws a walk.
Good take.
All right, so lead-off walk. Ex-Joker in the chat says, did it just go from afternoon to night? Yeah, it kind of did.
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. I noticed it too. I was like, did we skip an inning or something? Someone turned the sun off.
All right, so McGreyhounds has a leadoff walk. Rowdy Tellez against Nate Pearson.
Ooh,
inside he gets him.
Wow. Look at these numbers.
That brings up the phenomenal AJ Pollock.
Here's the thing. If you're hitting 524 with somebody, you're doing well against both sides. Even though Pollock's card is heavily tilted to facing lefties, you're not putting up a 524 and an 1886 OPS by only hitting one side.
He's ahead in the count 2-1, a silver card, and as Paul mentioned, if you can get some solid contact there, but it's a line out to center, and the runner at first will have to jog back. So 2 outs. Nate Pearson, Paul said he'd love to get 2 innings out of Pearson. Here's Montero, fouls one off, it's 0-1. Another one fouled off, and he's down to the count 0-2. It's really hard to catch up to that 102 speed.
Got some info in the chat that they switched streams, and that's why it looked so abrupt there. Notice we're sticking with the hitting player each time, so that way we can kind of see it from the strike zone view.
Here's the 1-2. Ooh, good take there.
I definitely would have swung at that.
Goes up in the zone, and he comes up empty. So 2 full innings for Pearson, and Yadier has a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the second. Leading off with Dansby Swanson.
Back to Day.
Off the plate, ball 1.
This is interesting. I know it's 2 different streams, but I don't know why it's 2 different times a day.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Dansby Swanson grounds to third, and that's out number 1.
I know we just saw an out for him, but I love that Dansby Swanson card. He's great, righty-righty. James McCann, one of my absolute favorite catchers. I see he's only hitting 208 with him. I love James McCann. He's awesome.
Second inning of work for Casey Mize. High fly ball, drifting into foul ground. It is playable, and that's out number 2.
2 quick outs here. We're seeing that Yadier has not really been particularly patient. He does get down to the bottom of the lineup to get that, to get Pearson through 2 innings, and now he has Austin Meadows coming off the bench. He struggles with him a bit, but a lot of folks are very good with Austin Meadows, so keep an eye out here.
Oh, swings at a splitter up in the zone, and it's 0-2.
Nasty swing.
Oof. I definitely would have swung at that sinker. Here's the 1-2 from Mize.
This Mize card, I'm a Tigers fan. I was really excited by it, and I did not do well with him. I ended up selling him for 1 million stubs. Had to do it.
Here's the 2-2 from Mize. This time tries the outside part of the zone.
If Mize gets through this inning, well, actually his spot will come up, so never mind. He's not going to come out for the 3rd.
And that's going to be off the wall. But that lack of speed, they're going to hold Meadows to a single. So it's a 2-out knock for Yadier. Edwards sinking liner, but caught, and that retires the side. So through 2, it's 1-0. As you see some activity in Yadier's bullpen.
My boy Scuffy telling me that it takes your default time that you use personally, so no one had a bad batter's eye to their advantage, and that's why we're seeing it go from night to day. So it looks like Yadier doesn't mind the day, whereas Mcgregor prefers night. And a lot of folks do prefer night. I like day, but it has to be early day. If you're doing 4 p.m. stuff, you're cheesing, and you need to stop it.
Yeah, no one likes the low sun, and I need optimal conditions just to make contact. Here's Willie Calhoun. Fouls one off. 2-2. Eric Gagne, second pitcher for Yadier.
Kind of a nasty bronze. He can really do damage.
Ooh, that curveball hung in the zone, but he swings through it, and that's out number 1.
Very nice pitch.
What do you think of his bench choices there?
Some interesting ones. Rake Lamb is awesome. Cargo, Mark Trumbo can crush. Mark Trumbo's his best one for sure. Pretty lefty heavy, but has the elements that you want in a bench there. You're probably only going to use 2-3 of the guys anyway, so as long as you get a couple goodies. Cargo and Trumbo being his best there. Rake Lamb, former god of BR a few years back.
So here's Carlos Gonzalez down in the count 0-2. Eric Gagne. 1 out. 2 outs away from taking game 1.
Yeah.
And there's Cargo, slaps it the other way. That's going to be extra bases. Rounding first, headed to second, and it's an extra base hit with 1 out. Here in the top of the 3rd.
We'll see Shed Long here as a pinch runner.
And there we go. So you have speed at second. Anything gets in the outfield, and I think that's bringing the tying run home.
There it is.
But it's run down by the center fielder. Tagging is Long, and he's in safely. That was well struck by Conforto.
Interesting tag. I think an unnecessary risk. He got in there, but if you make the 3rd out at 3rd, that would have been absolutely brutal. By the way, another element that we have here that we don't normally have is wind, and it's blowing out at 8 miles, which in ship it terms is about 412 miles.
That one, is that playable? In foul ground, and what a catch. And that's it. That's all.
Wow.
Yadier takes game 1 as he strands the tying run at second. So Yadier takes game 1 in this best of 5 semifinal series. And back here with Paul Sporer, baseball streamer and writer. I'm Robert Flores from MLB Network. Thanks for joining us. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here, Paul, as we get set for game number 2 of this semifinal series. What were your takeaways from Yadier's 1-run win?
We didn't see a lot of offense there. They made me look terrible. My keys to the game were up in smoke. There was hardly any offense. And I think one of the elements that I did talk about was patience, and we didn't see a lot of that. Maybe a little bit of nerves. There's a lot of money on the line, so I totally understand that. I'm not here to critique that necessarily. I was just surprised that we didn't see a bit more offense. I think as folks settle in, we'll start to see that offense tune up, especially because I know we're going back out to ship it.
Yeah, Mcgregor had that tying run in the bottom of the 3rd, or in the top of the 3rd, excuse me, at second base, and wasn't able to to push him across. What do you think we're going to see in game 2? I'm also interested to see and get your thoughts on what the pitching matchups might look like.
See, that's kind of what I'm curious about. Was it Greyhound? Does he go with Mize to start, or does he bring him in as a reliever again? They could do the same exact matchup. Again, there is no stamina, so they could go Pearson, Mckay again. Obviously, we're going to see Pearson and Mize in this game. It's just a matter of if they're starters or if they're the second pitcher. Gagne will obviously be out again as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to go with these things here.
All right, and our second semifinal will be Eminent against KK Guzman 0-1. That is still yet to come as we await on game number 2 of this best-of-5 semifinal series. Now, once we get to the championship, that will be a best-of-7, still a 3-inning format. All right, so here we go. Game number 2, Yadier and McGreyhound. You take a look at McGreyhound, who will be the home team. He's going with Jake Diekman, Paul, as his starter.
Goes with another lefty here, this time Jake Diekman, who is absolutely nasty. Former BR god as well. It's still pretty good this year. I struggle with him a little bit since he's become silver. Weirdly, sometimes I struggle with a guy once they get upgraded. I don't know what the deal is with that, but he's got nasty stuff, and he wants to attack that Michael Conforto, David Dahl aspect of his lineup there. Or excuse me, no, it's the other way. He's going to have Dahl and Happ.
All right, so here we go. Once again, back at Ship It. Yadier wearing his road black uniforms, and McGreyhound in the field wearing the maroon top and the gray pants. Or it looks like, is it gray or white? Maybe it's white, but Diekman starts off Xavier Edwards with a strike on the outside corner, and we're underway.
So he's going to have Edwards, Dahl, Happ, 2 switch hitters against the lefty here.
There's perfect contact right there. He's thinking about 2, but he's going to remain at first. So the leadoff batter is on for Yadier after a single by Xavier Edwards, and here's David Dahl.
Here comes Dahl. It is lefty, but he can crush lefties. And let's see what we got here.
And we've got a home run. First pitch swinging, and it's gone. A 2-run homer for Yadier using David Dahl, and it's 2-0 in the first.
You don't need to be patient if you're ready to crush, and that one was absolutely tanked out to center.
Ian Happ will ground to third, and that's the first out of the top of the first. So early damage here for Yadier. 2-run homer for David Dahl. Here's Jonathan Scope. 13 homers using Scope. Matchup.
Yeah, Scope's awesome. This card has been a legend in the game for quite a while, and he's really good against lefties, so this could be another opportunity for Yadier.
Here's the 0-2, check swing.
Oof.
Of course he didn't go.
They never go. I always go.
They never go. Fly ball, foul ground. Tellez is there. And that's out number 2. So McGreyhound went with a bronze starter in game 1, a silver starter in game 2, Paul.
I mean, he was looking to attack the lefties. I mean, you go lefty against David Dahl, but the thing of it is, Dahl's good against anybody. He does have Mitch Moreland here, and he's going to force him out of the game. So that's going to help at least a little bit. Alec Boehm is insane, though. So it helps a little to get Moreland down, but to face Boehm isn't exactly all that fun.
And he's ahead in the count 2-0. And plus, Boehm looks like Jason Worth, who looks like Edge, the rated R superstar. That's going to be down the line.
Told you. Wasn't going to be that easy.
The ball is misplayed out and left, and Boehm will slide head first into second.
Kyle can relate. Tough break. Just got to shut this down, though. Diego Castillo coming in. Just get this last out, and it's fine at 2-0.
And he does get that last out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Diego Castillo. 2 runs have scored, and Yadier is out to a 2-0 lead. All right. So he's going to keep Boehm in the game and play first. Here's Michael Conforto, who had some good swings in game 1, Paul.
Absolutely. He crushes, and he jumps on this first one here.
Deep fly ball, but it's run down at center field on the warning track. A changeup in the high in the zone nearly cost him.
It's one of those things where you want to be patient, but you also don't want to give away good pitches to hit. You want to be patient but not passive, and that's a delicate balance there. So I understand why he swung at that pitch. That's when you attack, and he put a good strike on it.
Here's Claver Torres. Fastball down the middle at 102, fouled off but caught near the wall in foul ground, and just like that, 2 quick outs. For Yadier, here's Robinson Cano.
On just 3 pitches. So again, I get back to the patience. Does Greyhound settle down a little bit here, figure himself out, get the hitting going? Cano's a good opportunity to do that here against Pearson. Be ready for that heat.
And there's a base hit for Robinson Cano. 102 miles. Oh, wow,
Oh.
no, I called it early.
Oh, my God.
That is so deflating. That is a game is cheating me moment right there.
Does Yadier
Wow.
have a horseshoe around his neck?
Oh, my
Is
gosh.
Yadier, I mean, does it mean lucky in another language?
I don't know, but
mean,
this
that is
dude is
just-
getting break after break after break. Bruh.
No strike.
I haven't seen break
Xavier
dancers
Purcell in the chat.
get this many breaks.
Yes.
That was a terrible joke. I hate myself
unbelievable.
for it.
Here's
Unbelievable.
Dansby Swanson.
Unbelievable.
Dansby Swanson
Does he
ahead
know
to
a
count 2-1.
bondsman? Because he keeps getting bailed out. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he does. Swanson sends one deep to right, but playable, and that's out number 1.
But he does also have the 2-run homer. So, you know, we can make jokes about getting bailed out on some interesting plays. But he did rip the 2-run homer, and that gives him a legitimate 2-run lead right now.
0-1.
All right, so here is James McCann. Ooh, up in the zone. And that
Went and
is
got that one.
smoked. He sure did, and it's going to be extra bases and bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. That's what I'm talking about, Paul. You can put things
yep.
out in the zone, up and away, and these guys still get to it.
I was going to make the same exact point. That's what separates these folks from us, is that we make that pitch, we think, hey, that's a good pitch, and they tank it for a ground rule double. Now, I mentioned James McCann's a god, so I'm not too surprised by it, but it's got to be frustrating for Greyhound.
Paul, he's having Nate Pearson hit for himself. What do you make of this move?
He really wants to keep that diamond pitcher, and he's been remarkably successful with him. 2-0, you know, with the lead, why not? I kind of get it.
All right, here's Xavier Edwards, who singled earlier, and good contact here. First pitch swinging, but he flies out to right, and that retires the side. McGreyhound looking for his first hit of this game, down in this best-of-5 series, 1-0.
And he's up against it here. He's going to have to be facing Pearson for a 3rd straight inning, 5th out of the two games so far. Hopefully he's starting to key in on that velocity, because Yadier is just leaning on it, and it's working for him big time right now.
101 just pours in for a strike. He's
Gross.
down in the count 0-2.
Greyhound needs to stay within his game here, though. It's only 2 runs, bloop and a blast, as we say.
He's only thrown 9 pitches at this point, Paul.
And, you know, again, while the starter stamina is a little muted in BR, 9 pitches into the 2nd inning is helpful. By the way, I thought it was the 3rd inning, and I made that mistake. I apologize.
Here's Rowdy Tellez here in the bottom of the 2nd.
If you've been to my stream, though, you know I never know what inning it is. I call walk-offs in the 7th inning, and, I mean, I'm just all over the map sometimes. So that's probably not surprising to folks who know me.
That one's down in the zone, missing. It evens the count at 2-2. He's batting
Tellez is a
.346 with
monster.
Rowdy Tellez.
He can go yard easily. Got full count here.
Here's the payoff pitch. Down the middle. Sent deep to center. And it is gone. So the first hit brings the first run for McGreyhound, and he cuts the lead in half. He's down 2-1.
The weight lifted off his back is enormous, Robert. Just the feeling of, okay, I'm in this. I cut the lead in half. I got a homer. It has to feel great. Things hadn't been going his way. Finally gets something to go his way here for Greyhound. Big at bat.
There's a home run to straightaway center field. He's down in 2-1. Here's A.J. Pollock down in the count 1-2.
We mentioned how Pollock's
Nate
pretty
Pearson.
nasty, hitting 500.
Here's the 1-2. Ooh, inside. Check swing. He did not go. Here's the 2-2 from
Now, I
Pearson.
guess- Oh,
Good pitch.
that was a nasty slider. I do wonder, since like I said, I was elevating it to the 3rd inning, I wonder if he's going to look to get Pearson in for 3 innings, or if this. Wow!
Wow! A perfect leads to a shoestring catch in center field, and that retires the side. We're going to the 3rd inning.
Yo, if Yadier doesn't change his team name to the Bail Bondsman, come on. You gotta do it for the meme.
Things breaking right. Things are breaking right for Yadier, and first pitch swinging, and that is going to be out of here. A leadoff home run for Yadier.
I told you David Dahl was a god, didn't I?
You did. You did. So another pitch and change.
That run back.
It's now back to a 2-run advantage. Ian Happ, first pitch swinging, lines it hard, but fielded by Tellez, who steps on the bag.
I've noticed that when Yadier has a play go his way as far as getting a good hit, the next at-bat, he's very impatient.
Well, here's Jonathan Scope, and this is sent deep to center field, but run down there by Pollock, and that's out number 2. Here's Alex Bohm, who was in as a pinch hitter, on for his second at bat.
You can make a case that Bohm should be starting, and then you could bring in Moreland in a key situation against a righty, because you're going to take him out against the lefty automatically. Since he has such a sharp platoon, I might consider starting Bohm personally.
All right, so Yadier adding some insurance here in the top of the 3rd.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count.
A home run from David Dahl, extending it to a 3-1 lead. Sharply hit grounder to short. This should retire the side. Scooped up by Rowdy Tellez over at first, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd as McGrayhound in danger of falling behind 2-0 in this best of 5, Paul.
All right, so now McGrayhound is up against it, and now Pearson's out for the 3rd inning. But at 22 pitches, now it starts to be in that little danger zone there where the next hit could really damage his stamina and confidence if Greyhound's able to get, a double in the gap or another homer.
Meantime, Willie Calhoun grounds out to second for out number 1. So he's going to go with Carlos Gonzalez. This was the same matchup we saw in game 1, and Cargo got him for a double. Here's the 0-0. Changeup misses inside. He's ahead 1-0.
Whether you're using a high-end diamond or this low bronze live series, it doesn't matter. Or even if it's the Oakland A's bronze, by the way.
I really love the Cargo swing. I love the Jim Edmonds swing. It seemed those lefty swings are so fluid and so easy to use.
We do have 6 miles an hour of wind out to right center, favoring these lefties. Oof, and he wanted to take advantage of it there, get it in that jet stream.
He sure did. He's behind in the count 1-2. Nate Pearson trying to finish it off. Second game in a row that Yadier has gone with the fireballing right-hander. Check swing. He did not go. It's now full at 3-2.
Huge pitch. Gonna step off, rethink it. What do you go with? You go with the heat, Robert?
I think you do. Up and in. Up and in heat. Here's the payoff pitch from Nate Pearson. High fly ball. Center field, shy of the warning track, and that's out number 2. He just got under
just
it,
on
Paul.
The wrong, yep, on the wrong side of good there, as we call it in the community, where it shows a good swing, but it's more like a good okay as opposed to a good, or of course that very magical perfect. He went with the right pitch there. That was his last batter. He's in the red, so it's time to go with Gagne.
He starts him off with a Vulcan change. It's down in the zone, 1-0. Conforto slaps one to left, and that will fall. Is it going to be extra bases? It will. So the tying run will come to the plate. And it's Claver Torres.
Diamond postseason Glaber, too. His live series silver is amazing, so you know this diamond is fire. Ooh. That was the pitch.
McGrayhound said Glaber Torres was the card he had to have as a hitter. He had to have this diamond card in his lineup. He's ahead in the count. Now 3-1. Robinson Cano looming on deck. And we're going to take a look at some bullpen activity from McGrayhound.
You're jumping
I
if
would.
It's the right pitch.
Ooh, well, now it's full.
Would have been a heater down the middle, so yeah.
It would have. Here's the payoff pitch. And that is sent to right field, but lined out and caught. So once again, A last inning opportunity for McGrayhound, but he just can't cash in, Paul, and now he's down 0-2.
That's really difficult to be down 0-2 with the way he's starting to play, but he's starting to get his feel here. He's got, I think, his timing Nate Pearson a bit. He's going to see him again. You know, they're going to continue to stick with their same pitchers here. I do wonder if Yadier is going to start him again or maybe bring him in a little bit later, give McGrayhound a different look. If he starts him, I think McGrayhound's going to get him in the third game.
What would you do? Would you start Nate Pearson again or wait and bring him as a bullpen piece?
I would, because don't fix what isn't broken. But I'm just saying, I do think at the same time, it's like, it's hard not to think that McGrayhound's going to start to see him a little bit better. But that 102 cheese is absolutely still working. So I would still start him, take my chances. If he starts to get to him early, I can shift to the bullpen and hopefully come back if I give up a few runs. But yeah, I got to go with my best there. It's an opportunity to end it.
You had mentioned McGrayhound at times wasn't exactly patient. Do you think that's something he considers and maybe changes in Game 3?
Hopefully he saw what patience brought him in that last inning there, really got to him, even on that last pitch, just waiting back on that changeup that came in there, and he put a good swing on it to the opposite field. It just happened to go right into a glove. The patience is going to get him back in this right now. I understand it's easier said than done when you're fighting for this money and you're down 0-2, but you just have to take it one game at a time, one pitch at a time. It's cliche, but it's cliche because it works, and that sort of patience is going to get him back in this if he's going to do it.
Did you say money? Did you say money?
Yeah.
Because you know what money is good for? Money is good for stubs. And it is stub sale on MLB The Show 20 this week. It's also Griffey Week. So through Wednesday, stubs are on sale up to 50% off. Paul, I've got like 500K sitting in my pause menu right now because I have it like that. Also, the game itself, 50% off, the standard edition. It's Griffey Week, Paul, for goodness sake.
Robert, your boy's sitting on $2 million here. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be great. We have the last roster update coming up too. I'm gonna have some tips on who to invest in as far as that goes to get your bankroll even bigger. I think the market is robust to still invest in right now and really build your bankroll for those big cards that are coming out.
All right, so definitely a lot of content, a lot of things still coming here, even though we are winding the end of the 2020 Major League season. We want to remind you that we still have another semifinal, not only in this game, in this series, as Yadier has a chance to close it out, but we still have another second semifinal as we get you up to our championship series, which will be a best of 7. I think we're going to take a quick time out here, but we'll be back. Game number 3, Yadier with a chance to close out McGrayhound in game number 3. We'll be back in a second.
CBS. Right. You can't see me. Hey. On your best day. Today or the next day. Never that. Can't see me.
PlayStation.
legacy before you go.
Welcome back. This is the Fall Circuit Championship. Thanks for watching us on twitch.tv/PlayStation. I'm Robert Flores from MLB Network alongside gamer and baseball writer and streamer Paul Spohr. Paul, we are on the brink of seeing an elimination in our first round, in our first semifinal. We had someone in the chat saying it's semifinal. The chat is always very constructive with their criticism, and we appreciate that. Paul, we've seen Yadier take a 2-0 series advantage on Mcgregor. He has a chance to close him out in our next game.
Yeah, it's been great watching the semifinals. Is that what you said? Semi?
I don't know.
Chat,
I think they were offended by sema. They like semi.
I think we should do it different every single time. Yeah, but a 2-0 lead here for Yadi. Definitely things working his way right now, as they have been. Let's see what happens in Game 3.
All right, so here we go. Game number 3, closeout opportunity for Yadier. He is the home team, and he's going with Nate Pearson. But this time, Paul, Mcgregor is going with the diamond starter of his own in Casey Mize.
Cutting to the chase now and just going with the Diamond 99 Casey Mize. Battle of 99 future stars here. I don't blame him. He's gotten bit a couple times with the Mckay and the Diekman. They didn't pitch poorly, but they gave up runs. So it's time to go for your big dog right off the rip.
Yeah, in game number 1, Mcgregor. Oh, yeah, ship it. Exactly. That's the place to go. And Michael Conforto leading off for Mcgregor, obviously hoping for something good early against Nate Pearson. First pitch swinging, and he fouls it off.
They are jumping out early. Again, it's a little bit surprising. Now, I don't have experience with these two gentlemen in particular, but some of the guys I watch at the top end of the community, they're remarkably patient. So I know that is a calling card for a lot of folks in the community.
Meantime, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. 3 pitches, 1 out. First pitch swinging here. Claver Torres fouls it off.
The thing that we focused on, could Mcgregor start to hit that cheddar from Nate Pearson? So far, the answer is no, and it could end up being his demise at this point.
All right, so Claver Torres, and as I mentioned earlier in his survey, Mcgregor said this was the one diamond hitter that he targeted, Claver Torres. He's
Claver
behind
Torres
the count,
playoff
1-2.
card is tremendous. Live series, any Claver you got is worth using, but this diamond is a beast. He was hitting over 500 coming into this. Now he's down to 486 though.
All right, some good patience here by Mcgregor. 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch from Pearson. High fly ball, right center field, just shy of the warning track. Now drifts near the track, and that's out number 2. But a good at bat there by Mcgregor, a 7-pitch at bat.
At least build up the pitch count. Maybe you can get Pearson to just 1 inning and get to the Gagne. You see that real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to make a point about going patient, and he goes for a first pitch there. That's a tough one. And again, it's easy to say from the booth, but that is tough. Only 10 pitches for Pearson, so you know he's going to be back out for the second.
All right, so 3 up, 3 down. Here's Xavier Edwards leading off. Good contact there. Slaps it the other way. We've seen him go the other way a couple of times in this series.
Perfect rip in the left field, and now you have speed on the bases. You're going to make something happen or let David Dahl do his thing.
David Dahl homered in game number 2. Runner is off. Throw down to second, and he's in safely, well ahead of the throw. So a runner in scoring position, no outs for David Dahl, who homered in game 2.
Oh boy, that was fortunate there. That is a non-cutting cutter, the worst pitch in the game. Cutter can be good when it's cutting, but if it doesn't move, it's literally the worst pitch in the game, and it could have gone a long way.
All right, so a runner at third, less than 2 outs for Ian Happ. Casey Mize trying to wiggle his way out of some early trouble. That cutter looked to hit the strike zone, but it was called a ball.
Again, imperfect umpires,
now down in the count, 3-0.
He's going to walk him.
Nice. All right, so runners at the corners, double play opportunity. And Jonathan Scope is a player that can be doubled up.
Absolutely. He does not have much speed. If you can get a ball on the ground, get the double play and get out of here, that'd be amazing for Greyhound.
And that's the double play ball. Over to second, back to first, and in time. Double play for Mcgregor. And we go to the top of the second, no score.
He needed that more than anything. That has got to be huge. That probably makes him feel really good about his chances here. Hopefully it inspires him here at the dish.
All right, here's Mitch Garver. What do you think of the Mitch Garver card?
It's insane. You pretty much have to take it every time. There's actually quite a few good silver catchers this year, and even a good bronze in Mike Zunino, but the Mitch Garver's hard to pass up. He crushes righties and lefties. Better against lefties, but crushes both.
Fouls that one off.
He's got to figure out this
down to the
heat.
count 0-2. Ooh. Nate Pearson blows him away with high heat, and that's out number 1 in the second. Here's Rowdy Tellez.
Normally, you know, and this is one of the things that makes it so difficult to compete at the higher levels, is the ability for the top players to catch up to speed. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see the struggles here against Pearson, but it is on Hall of Fame, and that's a big difference. Hall of Fame and imperfect umpires.
And Rowdy Tellez sends one to right, and it's out of here. So Mcgregor for the first time. First time in this series has a lead. As he gets to Nate Pearson, a solo homer, he's ahead 1-0.
Now the combo of the double play followed by the homer to get your first lead, got to be feeling good right now. If he can tack on, that's going to be amazing. And it's going to have to come via hitting the fastball, I think. I don't know why Yadier went away from the fastball there, but he caught a slider, sent it yard. Oof.
And he gets the phenomenal A.J. Pollock to look at a slider, and that's out number 2.
That's the devastation of the heat, though, is that you can put sliders in the middle there, and it kind of increases your margin for error, because he should be on that, but he sees it coming in kind of slowly. He assumes it's going to be something breaking out of the zone. It kind of messes with your timing quite a bit. The outlier the outlier heat is incredible in this game. Great new quirk this year.
All right, here's Montero down in the count 1-2 to Pearson. Sends that one foul. 26 pitches now coming up for Nate Pearson. Inside fastball sent to right field and playable, and that retires the side. But Rowdy Tellez goes deep, and Mcgregor has his first lead of the series. He's up 1-0 going into the bottom of the second.
Robert, did you see the way that 101 moved? That looked like a two-seamer, the way it kind of wiggled in with some arm side run. That's such a nasty pitch, and that's why Pearson's pretty much been the all-star of this series thus far. But they do have a 1-0 lead, so that's big for Greyhound.
All right, so Yadier trying to answer back. He's got Mitch Moreland here facing Casey Mize. Splitter, swing and a miss. Ooh. Hangs tough there on a slurve, darting in.
That slurve is Mize's best pitch. It's one of the most fun to use, too.
Mitch Moreland sends one, and that's a perfect into the gap. No speed for Moreland, but he's going to try to get into second, and he's in with a double. So a leadoff double for Yadier.
I don't know what setting it is that Yadier uses that doesn't show the speed for his base runners, but I'm intrigued by it.
All right, here's Luis Robert. Fly ball. We have and that's gone. That is out of here. Luis Robert, a 2-run homer.
Mitch Moreland knew.
And
Mitch Moreland knew. He was
like
off
that,
immediately.
I was like, why is Mitch Moreland leaving and running on a fly ball with less than 2 outs?
That's a pure ship it homer. It gets up in the air and it just goes. It doesn't get out in a hurry, but it just carries.
And Dansby Swanson will fly out to left. But what a reply by Yadier. After Mcgregor takes the lead in the top of the second, Yadier responds with a 2-run homer here in the bottom of the second. Here's James McCann.
I wonder if he took out Mize too soon to go to the silver Diego Castillo, who's pretty good. A good BR silver, to be sure. Has the outlier quirk himself on that sinker. But I wonder if I might have stuck with Mize. I actually didn't see his health bar, so I don't know. If he was in the red, I understand taking him out.
And that's a sharply hit grounder to left. And it's a base hit for McCann. And we still have just 1 out. So a pinch hitter, it's going to be Austin Meadows. So you have Ray on Ray action here.
Nope. Switching.
Nope, he's switching. We're going to make a pitching change. It's going to be Jake Diekman, who got the start in Game 2 for McGrayhound. And we have a pinch hitter for Austin Meadows. It'll be Alec Boehm. Second time we've seen him in this series.
Having a key lefty and a key righty allows you to answer in BR, and it's very nice if you can get one of both there. It does use two assets in one play, though, and it ends up being one pitch for two guys, which is kind of tough there. For me, I just take the lefty-lefty combo, especially if I have a lead there. I would have kept Boehm on the bench.
And another first pitch swinging, and that retires the side. But 2 runs come across on a 2-run homer. And it's now 2-1, Yadier.
And we'll see the standard Pearson to Gagne. And we'll see what happens here. Top third. It's McGrayhound. Time to put up. He wants to keep this series going.
He's down to his final 3 outs in this tournament.
It'll be Calhoun, probably Cargo, and then the top of the order.
Someone in the chat said the way both of these guys are playing that they would expect to not put up much of a fight in the finals. I don't necessarily agree with that, but chat's going to chat. So
it's easy to talk when you're not playing. Listen, I understand everything that's going on right now, but there's a lot of money on the line. Nerves are a thing. You know, it's super easy to talk from the chat. If you were good enough to be here, you'd be here. Except Kyle, he was good enough to be here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so we're going to have a pinch runner, Shed Long. Good speed at first. Anything in the outfield, and he's a threat to score from first. Carlos Gonzalez, another pinch hit opportunity for him in this series.
He's been great. He struck the ball very well. I think he has a hit and then a well-struck one that ended up being caught.
Sends one to left. High fly ball. Well short of the track. And that's out number 2.
Notice that we've seen consistently Greyhound's PCI just under. He is just missing. He's probably going to review this video and be like, I am so close to so many of these pitches, and I just missed them.
Ooh. Michael Conforto early on the curveball. Gagne goes up in the zone, and he's ahead in the count 0-2. Good take there. And that's going to get past the catcher. So the tying run moves into scoring position as Shed Long will head to second. A wild pitch. And here's Conforto. Reaches out and sends one to left. Going back. And it did not carry enough, just shy of the wall. And that's out number 2. So McGrayhound down.
This is the guy he wanted. It's going to be on to him. And he's going to need a base hit in the gap to score Shed Long. Shed Long is his pinch runner, but it is a 58 speed, so it's not a blazer.
RJK, this is a best of 5. You're absolutely right. Ooh, pulled the hands in, but also pulled it foul. But McGrayhound down to his final out. And this should do it. Grounded to third. Throw across to first, and that's it. That'll do it. Yadier with a sweep. A 3-0 sweep over McGrayhound, and he is on to the finals, where he will take on the winner of Eminent and KK Luzman 0-1. Paul, your impressions of Yadier's 3-0 sweep?
You know, he came back the one time that Greyhound got a lead. I think Greyhound's going to be really upset with himself for not getting on that heat of Nate Pearson. He saw it consistently, and he was just missing. We didn't see as much offense as I expected. I think there were some nerves for both guys, but Yadier got the job done, pitched well with that Pearson to Gagne combo. We're going to see a lot of it in the final, too.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights here. A 3-game sweep.
This was a huge double play that got him out of an early trouble there.
And then Ian Happ is able to put Yadier on the board with a ground rule double. Conforto.
Okay.
All right. And then Gagne, who we saw close out game number 3 of this series, Paul.
Gagne did what he had to do when he had to do it. You know, it wasn't his best pitcher. Pearson clearly was that, but Gagne shut it down and was able to get Yadier into the finals. And it looks like the breaks are going to continue for Yadier.
Yes, it does.
He doesn't even have to worry about
this was crazy right here. Robinson Cano thrown out from right field. I mean, McGrayhound thinks he has a hit, and he's thrown out at first from right.
Yeah, it really, that's got to be a crusher there, too. And we've seen it. You know, it happens with some of the slow guys, but, you know, it is something that can kind of consistently happen with the slower players. And then that homer was rough.
Yeah, David Dahl takes him deep. And then Gagne getting Claver Torres. There were a couple of times where McGrayhound had Claver Torres in key situations in this series, and he couldn't cash in.
Yeah, he got exactly who he wanted, and it was that heat, Robert, that mostly. Obviously, Gagne doesn't throw as hard as Pearson, but it was that Pearson heat that really did damage. And we're seeing there that one time that he did get Pearson, but he couldn't hang on to that lead, and that ended up being difficult in Game 3. Mitch Moreland getting a double in the gap. It was a lot of near misses there from McGrayhound, and that happens in a 3-inning game. That's the volatility of a 3-inning game. But Yachty did make the plays when he had to, and he's going to this final.
I did not think that this ball was going out. From the way, from the pitch location to contact, I didn't think it was going out, but Luis Robert took him deep.
Robert's a monster, and it's one of those high fly balls that it doesn't track as well because it doesn't move as quickly, but it just goes and goes and goes.
Okay, so Yadier takes a 3-0 series sweep over McGrayhound, and Eminent in a walkover takes care of KK Kluzman 0-1. So now we've got our final matchup. Eminent against Yadier. Now, again, 3-inning games, but instead of a best of 5, it's a best of 7. And Paul, how do you think that affects our players' strategy, specifically in the pitching department?
I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of the same still. We're going to have to figure out who Eminent has pitching for him. But it's going to be that Pearson-Gagne matchup a lot. And obviously, because there's no stamina, Eminent better get used to seeing Pearson and Gagne a whole bunch there. So Eminent ends up not facing K. Kluzman. I wonder if K. Kluzman is going to be pretty bummed that he didn't get on Twitter today and see that he had an opportunity to be in the semifinals after all that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a good point. So Eminent, he's a college baseball player, so obviously has some real life baseball experience. He's only been playing this game for a couple of years, Paul, but now he finds himself with a chance to compete for $15,000 or as part of a $25,000 prize pool.
I mentioned it earlier, but apparently his cousin knows Juan Soto, so he's actually in contact with him, gets to FaceTime with him and everything. So, I wonder how many Nats he's going to get on his team here, if he can get some key nationals on his squad and maybe that 99 Trey Turner or something. So that's going to be really interesting to see how he built his squad. And don't forget, McGrayhound, well, actually, no, is he just going to get third place, I guess, because of the walkover and the other thing there? I think he's going to have secured third place there, so that'll be good for him. But I'm excited for this final. I want to see if Yachty can kind of keep his approach. He hasn't been nearly as patient as I would have expected somebody of the caliber that we're in here at the end of the road in this tournament. Is that going to work against him with Eminent if he's swinging first, second pitch in a lot of these at-bats?
Well, going into this event, Eminent said that he wanted to build a team off of good silver and gold relievers. So we'll have to look to see what his roster looks like and see how it plays out. Hey, we got a lot of people in the chat that think that they could they could compete in an event like this, that they could maybe play among the best and compete among the best. And the way to do that is go to compete.playstation.com. If you think you have the skills on the sticks to beat the best and take part in an event like this, once again, compete.playstation.com. All right, our championship series is coming up. It's a best of 7. It will be Eminent against Yadier, and we'll bring you that final right after this.
ステーション
Welcome back. It's the finals of the Fall Circuit Championship. Alongside Paul Sporer, I'm Robert Flores. Paul, we have our final set is 3-inning games, best of 7 series. Let's remind our viewers who is in the finals. It is Yadier, who was able to sweep Mcgregor 3-0, and Eminent gets a walkover. So he gets into the championship series, Paul, taking on Yadier, who obviously has won 3 games in a row. So he has a little bit of a groove going into this finals. How do you think that affects gameplay today?
It'll be interesting. I wonder if Eminent's just been practicing, kind of getting things ready. If I were him and I were watching what was going on, I'd be on Legend against Aroldis Chapman, or actually maybe a right-hander since it's going to be Nate Pearson, getting ready for that velo, because you know you're going to face that Nate Pearson card a whole bunch. You're going to want to be ready for that velocity. And if you can hit that, I think he's got a good shot here for Eminent.
All right, so we have our championship series set. Remember, Battle Royale style, 3-inning games, best of 7 series. And we want to remind you that it is Griffey Week on MLB The Show, and what a perfect time to have our stub sale now until October 28th. 50% off, up to 50% off, sale on stubs as Griffey Week is upon us. And the game itself will be on sale up to 50% off standard edition. That is until Wednesday, October 28th. Paul, you said what? You had about a couple million stubs just laying around waiting for Griffey Week?
Yeah, just 2 million waiting for him. I don't really know, where I'm going to put Griffey. But it'll be interesting to see how we get them. There's still Mays out there. There's plenty of stuff. So get your stubs, get ready. Plenty of cards to get still.
Yeah, I have a crowded outfield myself. There's a lot of good outfielder cards out there, and Griffey will certainly be among the elites as we get set to send you out to our championship series, a best of 7, Yadier against Eminent, who is a college baseball player, has some real-life experience, and Yadier coming off, he's had an interesting tournament. Paul, he
That's one
takes
way to
care
put
of
it.
Greyhound. Yeah, that is a one. He's been able to take advantage of some breaks. I'll put it that way.
Look, some of the breaks you can't help, and I think he understands that, and he got a lot of breaks against Kyle. I think he knows that. He took advantage of them, and now he's in this position here. Kyle's an amazing player. I think, it would have been really interesting to see Kyle here. I have more experience with him, and that's part of why. But Yadier took advantage of the breaks that he got. If the game's giving you breaks, what are you going to do? Not take them? Quit? Kyle wouldn't want that either. He made that clear on Twitter. He doesn't want somebody to be like, well, here you go. It is frustrating. We've all been there, even if it's not on the high scale of what happened yesterday. It can be frustrating when things break your way. Think about it if it happened in real life, though, when the ball doesn't break your way. That has to be even more frustrating. We're here playing video games. Look what happened last night in the World Series. So things do happen, but Yadier has an opportunity here, and you can win some money, so he can get all his debts in order, too.
There we go. $25,000 prize pool is on the line in this championship series. The winner walks away with $15,000. So it will be Yadier against Eminent in our best of 7 series. And once again, if you want to be able to take part in events like this, if you think you're good enough to take on the best of the world, go to compete.playstation.com for more information on future events. We saw a lot of Nate Pearson for Yadier in that semifinal series. I imagine we will see a lot of Nate Pearson here in this championship series.
There's no chance we don't. That 102 heater, the outlier quirk. Don't forget, we are playing Battle Royale style, but it's on Hall of Fame. There's wind and there's imperfect umpires. So a few different factors there that add to the volatility of 3 innings. This is not a true mano 9-inning ranked seasons. There is volatility thrown into the mix, which can add to the chaos, make it more fun. Could also make it more frustrating if you're on the wrong side of it. But I think we're going to see a lot of that Pearson-Gagne combo. It's going to be on Eminent to get the runs going, to get deeper into that bullpen. We have not seen the kind of offense I expected that I'm used to seeing from the top players. So we'll see if that gets brought here in the finals.
And really, in our semifinal series, Paul, we did not see a lot of patience from either one of our players.
Yeah, and that was really surprising too. And I mentioned that every time Yadi hit a home run, his next at-bat seemed to be a quick one. And the reason I keyed in on that is because that's my problem too, is that whenever I have a good at-bat, big 7-pitch home run, I swear the next at-bat I swing first pitch like a clown. But that's because I'm a clown at the game. I expect more from some of these folks, so I'll be surprised to see if he keeps that up. And also there could have been nerves. There is a lot of money on the line. And again, we kind of made jokes about chat saying how much they could be here. It looks like, hey, I could play better than this. I've played better than this. when you got that money on the line, things are a lot different. The pressure's on, everybody's watching, so I get it.
All right, so we're standing by here, getting ready for our championship series between Yadier and Eminent. Battle Royale style, 3 innings. We've already seen, obviously, Yadier's roster, Paul. We've yet to see Eminent's roster here in this broadcast. He does, in his survey that he filled out before the event, he said he wanted to build a team off of good silver and gold relievers. What do you think of that strategy?
I think it'll be pretty interesting to see who those ones are, because I'm not very good with a lot of gold relievers. There's some that I just really don't like. Of course, comparing myself to people in this tournament is unfair to them. So we'll see who he deems as those good ones. Chris Martin's a really good one that I like. We did see a couple in Diego Castillo and Jake Diekman in that first semifinal. I think that's how chat wants us to pronounce it, semifinal. So yeah, yes. I'm eager to see who he's got there, and if he did take any diamond pitcher, whether it's a starter or one of his relievers. But I assume that he's got his silvers and golds on lock. He knows who he can trust, and we'll see if Yadi's able to handle him.
Yeah, we definitely saw Yadier's strength and talent on full display as he defeated McGreyhound 3-0 in a 3-0 series sweep in the first semi-final of this event. But here we are in the championship series, and we're standing by waiting on Eminent and Yadier to get started here in a best-of-7 series here. You mentioned that you would like to see, if you're Eminent, try to get into that bullpen because we really didn't see it at all from Yadier in his first series.
Yeah, it's just Gagne right now. It's Pearson to Gagne, Pearson to Gagne. So we're going to see what happens here if Eminent can get some runs going, because the confidence goes quick. A few doubles, a couple homers, all of a sudden that pitcher's got that confidence bar all the way down. That health bar can drain pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens. And again, if I were him, I'd have been practicing on velo for sure. Legend against just hard throwers to get myself ready, because you know exactly what Yadier is going to throw you here.
What do you, if you're Eminent and you are in this final kind of unexpectedly, what is your mindset as you get ready to take on Yadier, who is obviously been playing today and is ready to go, and as I said, in a little bit of a groove after that 3-0 series sweep?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's unexpected in that he didn't have to play a semifinal, but I think he believes in his talent and probably had confidence in himself that he was going to win anyway. So, hey, you got the first hurdle out of the way for you, and now you have an opportunity to jump in here against Yadi in the finals. He's been practicing, don't worry.
All right, so here we go. The home team will be Eminent, and he's going to be going with Chris Martin as his starter, and as expected, Yadier, Paul, going with Nate Pearson.
I got to be honest, I didn't even know that that's who he had, and I called it. I'm pretty proud of myself there. Chris Martin is an excellent gold pitcher as a reliever there, so he got one of his best golds, I bet.
All right, so Eminent is going with Chris Martin. Leading off his lineup is Lightning Nicholas Castellanos, a very, very, very good card. As we are underway back at Ship It here. And Yadier up to bat with Xavier Edwards. We're underway, our championship series, best of 7. Chris Martin on the hill for Eminent.
Edwards has been low-key really nice so far. A couple of hits in those first 3 games for Yadier, and then a stolen base. We'll see if he gets on base and makes something happen with the speed again.
Chris Martin starts him off with a sinker down in the zone. He's ahead in the count 0-1.
Great 5-pitch mix, excellent control. That's why I like this card so much. He's been great as a silver. He's very good as a gold and could go diamond this next week.
Sharply hit grounder to third. Fires across to first, and we're underway, out number 1. Here's David Dahl. We've seen him go deep in this postseason.
Yeah. Yep, this is the guy you got to get out, David Dahl. We see these silvers. Oh, that's a great at-bat there.
First pitch swinging. 4 pitches in, Paul. We already have 2 outs.
That's got to feel great for Eminent. Hap's another one you got to get. Don't give up this 2-out opportunity.
And Hap is able to beat the shift. First pitch swinging as well, but he's on a board with a single. Here's Jonathan Scope.
Again, we're not seeing patience from Yadier, and it's really surprising here.
Outside, that's the ball.
Looks at that first pitch, a cutter off the zone. He's ahead in the count 1-0. That ball well struck. That's going to be in the alley. Rounding third and heading for home is Yadier. And he's on the board quickly after Jonathan Schoop an RBI double. It's 1-0.
And again, I know we're harping on it, but you have to look at it. He catches the break. And again, it's not his fault, but he catches the break of Happ beating the shift in between the two guys shifted there for that little cheap base hit, then turns it into a double. So he's taking advantage of his break. So say all you want about the breaks, but then he is capitalizing on them, and that's a credit to him. And here comes Jake Diekman.
Counts 1-0.
And here is Alec Boehm, the right-hander. So both players, one going to their bullpen, another going to their bench. So early changes here in the top of the first. Diekman down in the count 2-0. Now it's 3-0.
And this is the trouble with Diekman. If you walk quickly, his confidence is going to be low, and it's going to be hard to throw strikes.
Gets a strike there at the bottom of the zone. Here's the 3-1.
Oof.
And Rexy, this one doesn't quite have the distance. And that is going to retire the side, but early run for Yadier, and it's 1-0. So Alec Boehm will stay in at first. And here's Nicholas Castellanos leading off for Eminent.
He's hitting 500. Now that could be 8 for 16, or it could be something more substantial like 20 for 40. I'm not sure, but he is hitting 500. It's an excellent card. Let's see what he's able to do here against Pearson and that 102 cheddar.
Here's the 0-2. Swinging. Fly ball. Going back is the right fielder at the wall, and he makes the catch. Wow.
Back against the wall.
Castellanos gave that high fastball a ride. All right, here's Jason Giambi, the home run derby card. What do you think of this card, Paul?
Robert, to me, if there's a home run derby card in BR, it's a must take. It doesn't really matter which one it is. Home runs are the answer in BR. You've got to take these cards, and Giambi's a monster.
And that's a line out to right. So good contact for the first two hitters, but both have resulted in outs. And here's Jonathan Schoop.
Hey, look, it's another Jonathan Schoop. This one's the silver. It doesn't matter which Schoop you get. They're all good, and he crushes with them. I think he saw 23 homers there for Eminent with Schoop.
That slider catches the inside corner to even the count 1-1.
Looks like early Yadier is a little bit afraid of the heat against them, and realizing that maybe he's ready for it. Heavy sliders.
Jonathan Schoop fouls that one off. It's now 2-2.
Here comes the fastball, I bet. Oh, no, he stays with the slider. Wow.
Stays with the slider, and that's going to be caught in foul ground, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. We're through 1-0 Yadier.
So a few things went his way there. With Eminent having some good contact, but finding gloves, got to feel pretty good if you're Eminent, though. I think he took some good at-bats.
And a leadoff single off Jake Diekman, and Yadier has the leadoff runner aboard. Here's Dansby Swanson.
Now here's the Yadier calling card. Get a little something to go your way, and then make a big strike. Gets a little nubber single up the middle. Is he going to hit a 2-run homer with Swanson here? Let's find out. Swanson is much worse against lefties, though.
That catches the bottom of the zone. It's 2-1. Swanson sends that one foul, and that evens the count 2-2. Oh, pitcher wall off of Diekman. Karams over to third, in time to get Swanson, but the runner does advance to second.
Finally, something against Yadier as far as a break. That kind of went Eminent's way. That could have been laced up the middle for a base hit, and nobody would have been too surprised by it. Instead, it goes off Diekman's knee over to third, 1 out. Now an opportunity to calm this down a little bit. New pitcher coming in.
Here's Joe Smith, the submarining right-hander coming out of the pen. Starts off James McCann with a strike.
1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's very
Runner
clear
in scoring
that
position.
Eminent kept to his strategy of good silvers and golds. These are some of the best relievers out there.
There's a perfect to left. The runner will have to hold at third, but it's first and third with 1 out.
I just want to say,
he's going to let Nate Pearson. Yep, he's going to let Nate Pearson hit for himself.
Told you about James McCann, and he's been making moves. Now we saw this in the semifinal, with Nate Pearson batting and coming in for the second inning in the Samore final.
That's right. Let's take a look at how Eminent is got his defense aligned.
If you're going to let him bat, would you maybe consider a suicide squeeze?
You know, I have such terrible luck when it comes to bunting. I would just take 3 and maybe swing with 2 strikes, but that's just me.
He is hitting 400 with him, and here it is.
There's the bunt, and a nice job by Yadier. The bunt, a successful sacrifice, and that makes it 2-0.
Wow.
So here's Xavier Edwards back to the top of the order. Looks at a strike there. Would you have defended that differently? Would you have put a bunt defense on or some sort of bunt play on, Paul?
He did. He actually did. It was a well-executed bunt, which is difficult to do. He had the third baseman drawn in. He was looking for it. So credit to Eminent there. Sometimes you put the right defense together and it just doesn't work. The only thing he could have done was maybe bring the second baseman in there as well.
All right, so here's Zach Collins. As Eminent finds himself trailing 2-0.
Are you familiar with this card? It's a nasty, nasty card. The Zach Collins prospect, he's an absolute beast. That's why he's batting 4th here, Robert.
And, just past the diving second baseman, so Zach Collins finds himself aboard with a leadoff knock. Here's Paul DeYoung.
Brilliant first name, amazing card. Paul DeYoung plays all 4 infield positions, plays them well, and one of the best hitters in the game.
Definitely a silver that plays above his stats. He's down in the count, however, 0-2. Oh, and he will send one through the vacated spot in the infield, so a threat here for Eminent. First and second, no out. Here's got Eduardo Escobar.
He went and got that one. It was out of the zone, low and away, but he did put good contact on it. His PCI was all over it. So, little bit of not a barrel or anything, not a perfect, but a well-struck ball, exactly where he needed to put it.
This is really the most significant threat that Yadier has faced in this semi-final. Where are we
now we're in
landing
the
on
finals
that?
because he didn't face many in the Samo finals.
There we go.
I did see Eduardo Escobar there. I love that card, and Aaron Hicks. This is a really good lineup here for Eminent. It runs very deep. Don't sleep on Hicks.
He mentioned he wanted to have a lineup filled with good silver players and quality gold relievers. He's got few here. All right, that's a single to the right side. Is he going to try to score from second? No. So now you got bases loaded with 1 out. That's a very good question. Pearson has been the money man for Yadier.
What a filthy bench he's got, too. He's got a really good bench. He can handle righties and lefties. It doesn't matter.
All right, so Willie Calhoun pinch hitting here. 1 out. Bases loaded. He's down 2-0 here in the bottom of the second.
I'm feeling a game-tying gap shot here, Robert.
Calhoun in survival mode, down 0-2. Oh, and that's going to sneak through the infield. 1 run will score. Eminent will hold his runner at third, and we're at bases loaded still with only 1 out. Here's Alex Gordon.
Things are absolutely playing Eminent's way right now, but if there's one person who can't complain about it, it's Yadier, because he's certainly gotten some breaks to get here. Just ask your friend Kyle.
That's right. All right, so Eminent will go with Kyle Tucker, and then Yadier will answer with Jake McGee for the lefty-on-lefty matchup.
That's okay. Tucker can hit lefties.
Fly ball, left field. Is it going to be deep enough to score the runner from third?
Speed. Nope.
He's not going to test him, so that's out number 2, still with the bases loaded, and we go to the top of the order, and Nicholas Castellanos, who flew out to deep right in his first at bat. And this is trouble, and it's a fair ball. 2 runs will score. And the throw back to third. That could have been dangerous.
Sending guys back is very difficult in this game.
Eminent takes the lead 3-2 on the go-ahead double by Nicholas Castellanos. Here's Jason Giambi. And that ball is smoked to right. And it will get past the right fielder all the way to the wall. 2 more runs will score, and it's an offensive explosion for Eminent.
This is what I expected. This is the kind of hitting, the kind of at-bats. He's putting some things together, and he got a few little cheap singles there that he put good contact on. I'm not taking away from him, but he's capitalizing on it with the big hits, and this is exactly what I expected to see. Now here comes Dellin Betances, formerly a god in BR, but I feel like he's meat these days, and if I think he's meat, then the good players are going to kill him. So let's see what happens here.
And once again, a base hit to the right side. You know, Eminent Paul is doing a great job of sending pitches the other way, especially with his right-handers.
He absolutely is. And, you know, you think, oh, boy, there it is.
The no-doubt homer. L2 on him. L2 on him.
Do it. L2 him.
L2 him. You got to L2 him.
I would have.
It's an 8-run inning for Eminent.
Absolute explosion. I told you, Betances, not that great these days. Everyone's been seeing him for years. That's the thing. He used to be an absolute BR god, and now people have just seen him too much. Huge explosion for Eminent.
And DeYoung grounds out to third, and that retires the side. But the damage is done. An 8-run inning for Eminent. Started the inning trailing 2-0. He now ends it leading 8-2.
And now we'll see if what comes into play, what I talked about early, not panicking. And a lot of times these quality players, that is a key asset that they have, is that they don't panic when they go behind, even when it's something as big as an 8-2 deficit. And, you know, Yadier knows that he can get the same kinds of things to go his way and then turn it into a big hit. So let's see what he does here with David Dahl against Pomeranz.
Paul, how do you think, if you're Yadier, you're facing a big deficit here, how do you think you use your bullpen pieces going forward, you know, in this type of format here?
Well, he's still got plenty of bullpen pieces. Notice he still has his Gagne lurking there. So what he's going to want to do is try to get a few runs and then bring in Gagne. Obviously, he doesn't have to worry about stamina, so you can bring him in no matter what. And I think if you get 2-3 runs here, then you go right to Gagne.
All right, so it's 3-2. Pomeranz to Dahl. Gets him swinging and missing at a cutter on the inside part of the plate for out number 1.
Don't forget, we're using imperfect umps too, so if he takes that pitch, it could have been called a strike. It kind of messes with your mind a little bit that you have to kind of swing, or at least be ready to swing at some of the pitches that wouldn't necessarily be strikes if a perfect umpire setup was in place.
And there's a base hit to left, and it's a 1-out knock. McGrayhound TV is in the chat, one of our Samo finalists in this game.
Correct. I think you nailed it. Yeah.
He lost in his series to Yadier. Shout out to McGrayhound, who is in the chat. Appreciate you playing, enjoying you watching you.
The extra sleep that Kay Klusman needs allowed McGrayhound to get third place. So congratulations to him. He did play well. He had some great innings there, and I think he's going to hate Nate Pearson for a while.
Oh, Jonathan Scope, the no doubt. It's a 2-run homer, and just like that, it's now down to an 8-4 deficit. You got to L2.
I want to see it.
Well, maybe not.
I mean, L2 him while you're losing. Just incite the chat. I think we have a clear protagonist.
Exactly.
And, you know, I'm just being honest, it's not Yadi, so I think he should have L2'd him to just rile up the chat.
You know, if you're Yadi, I say embrace your heeldom and L2 him. That's a perfect. So back-to-back hits for Yadier, and he's not going away yet, Paul.
I love Drew Pomeranz as a player in real life, but his MLB The Show card is rough. Now, he's going to go to David Robertson here, who I do love. So he really did build a good bullpen of silvers and golds, some of the best in the game. Let's see what Robertson can do here against Lou Bob.
And we saw in the previous series that Lewis Robert went deep in that clinching game for Yadier.
That was that carry one that got really high up that doesn't look like a no-doubter at all, but then ends up being gone. And we knew once Mitch Moreland left that it was a homer. Otherwise, it looked like it was just going to be a flyout.
Skinny A2, what's up? Watching in the chat. How you doing? Thanks for joining us, wherever you're joining us, especially on twitch.tv/PlayStation. And Luis Robert scorches one foul.
Good pitch there.
This is the high fly ball, right field. got in on the hands. Right fielder is there, and that's 2 outs here in the top of the third. Here's Dansby Swanson representing the last chance for Yadier here in game 1.
Big opportunity here. He does have righty-righty excellence, Swanson does.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Counts now
So
even,
we'll see
1-1.
if he can do anything here, keep him alive, down 4. He won't.
High fly ball, and this should do it. And that's it. That's all. Eminent comes back to win and scores 8 runs in the second inning and takes game 1 of this best of 7, 8-2. You know, this game 1 started the way a lot of the other games in the Yadier playoff run started. Things were going his way. He got an early lead. But you talk about an offensive explosion. Eminent was relentless in that second inning.
He really was. And, you know, there were some base hits that kind of went his way that might have found gloves in a normal time, but he capitalized with the big hits, the homer by Zach Collins, the smash job by Giambi. And that's what you have to do. If you get a break to go your way, you have to take advantage. You can worry about the breaks going your way later there. So I think Eminent really played brilliantly there. He had a lot of patience with those at-bats and did excellent work.
What adjustments do you think we see from both players in game 2?
If I'm Eminent, I'm not really changing too much there. I still think, obviously, a few of those singles maybe went his way on the luck side, but there were a lot of well-struck balls, so there's nothing to really change there. Be ready for that heat. You know you're getting Nate Pearson again. And if I'm Yadier, he's finally run into somebody here that's going to play, that's going to make him pay for being impatient. You know, he got away with it against Kyle. He kind of skated his way out here to the final. He's up against it now. He's going to have to start to settle in, take longer at bats, or else it's going to be trouble, and Eminent might run him here.
Puffy Benjamin, how you doing? Thanks for watching in the chat. And once again, McGrayhound TV, who was one of our players here in this event who lost to Yadier. We appreciate him watching and following along. And McGrayhound TV, we know all, okay? We know all. And we know that you put up a valiant fight against Yadier. But it's Yadier in the final against Eminent. And it's game number 2, and we're getting ready to send you back out. More than likely it's Ship It, and more than likely it will be Nate Pearson going for Yadier. But, Paul, I'm interested to see what kind of pitcher Eminent throws at him in game number 2.
Yeah, I really am eager to see that too. You know, he got that bullpen that he wanted to talk about with the golds and silvers, and there are a lot of the good ones that you see all throughout BR. The problem is that because they're not diamonds on Hall of Fame, they can be a little bit more difficult there. I wonder if he goes with maybe a Jake Diekman because you get those 2 switch hitters and David Dahl, but you want to be careful lefty-lefty against David Dahl. So he might just go to Chris Martin again. If I were him, I probably would, but I would try to use him a little bit longer. Once he gave up that run, he took Chris Martin out pretty quickly, but it didn't hurt him.
All right, so here we go. Yadier will be the home team. He's going to go with Nate Pearson. It's Jake Diekman getting the start for Eminent. As you take a look at the lineups for both, pretty much the same as we saw in game 1. So Yadier is the home team, and he's going to go with his man, Nate Pearson. Just a filthy, filthy card with elite velocity. Nicholas Castellanos getting things started here in game number 2. And, Paul, already some bullpen activity for Eminent.
Get him warmed up right away in BR because you're going to need him.
Nope, at the ball.
Oh, dirty.
Count 1-0.
We're underway. Looks at a ball. It's 1-0. Castellanos rips one down the line. Gets the perfect. Rounding first, headed for second, and it's a stand-up double for Nicholas Castellanos to open the first.
And we're seeing some really sharp hitting here out of Eminent. Gets Giambi up with a runner scoring position. Could be early trouble for Yadier.
And, Paul, we saw Jason Giambi do damage in game 1.
Jason Giambi cards are very underrated. First base is remarkably deep, but Jason Giambi is a favorite of some of the goons in the community. I know Rebel has recommended him to me before, and if Rebel gives me a recommendation, I got to take it.
All right, and Giambi draws a walk, so it's first and second, no one out. Here's Jonathan Scope.
There's the imperfect umpires coming back again.
And we're seeing some more patience from Eminent. And that's Jonathan Scope ripping one down the line. 1 run will score. And it's the second extra base hit in this inning.
This is exactly the blueprint that I thought we would see throughout the games today. The patience and the high-quality hitting. Eminent's really bringing it here so far. A game and 1 inning into this final.
And Eminent's being patient here in this first inning. He's been in the head of the count more often than not. He's ahead in this count, 2-0.
Zach Collins, absolute beast. If you've never used him in BR, pick him next time he comes through. You will not be disappointed.
He's ahead in the count, 3-1.
He's
Fouls
in a
that one
situation
off.
now, Yadier is, where Eminent can hit the heat, so he has to go to the slider more regularly. And Mcgregor was just behind on those heaters, and that's what allowed Pearson to be so effective. Ooh, gets one here, though, right as I say that.
Yeah, he gets Collins to fly out to third, and that's out number 1. Still a long way to go for Yadier to get out of this inning and dealing with the dangerous Paul DeYoung.
I'm going to call my gap shot again. I was a couple batters early. Giambi ended up doing it. I think Paul DeYoung gets it here. Gap shot for 2 runs.
And Paul, look at the pitch count here. Already at 18 pitches for Yadier.
Going to be really difficult to get 2 full innings out of him the way he has been throughout these finals. He just moved the infield in. Moving the infield in, at least in real life, adds 100 points of batting average. I imagine it does pretty similar things in the virtual game, so I don't know why he's doing that. Oh, got a nasty
he gets to
strikeout.
Young to swing and a miss. The throw to first will complete the strikeout. You know, you have to feel like if Yadier can get out of here with just giving up 1 run, that's a win.
Yeah, and I think he wanted to make sure of that. He didn't want to give up the run there if it was a ground out. On the infield, but that's a move I don't really agree with. Obviously, it didn't hurt him, though, because now he has 2 outs, and he's a pitch away from getting out of this. But Eduardo is a G, so be careful with Eduardo.
Oh,
nasty.
Caught looking inside heat, and 1 run is all that Eminent will get. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him, because he had 2nd and 3rd and no outs.
I feel like I'm a hex on
Xavier
Eminent.
Edwards.
I start singing the praises of his offense, and then he has 2 tough at-bats.
But it's caught at the track, and that's out number 1. First pitch swinging is Yadier. Here's David Dahl, who has done a lot of damage in this tournament. 2 pitches, Paul, 2 outs.
I'm telling you, we're just not seeing enough patience from Yadier right now, and if he doesn't tighten up, it could be a quick series here.
Both of these players are walking away with money. The winner gets $15,000. Eminent took game 1, leading here in game 2, 1-0. He is the team out in the field now. Jake Diekman has fallen behind to Yadier's Ian Happ, 3-1.
Ian Happ's a great card. You see he's batting in the 3 spot there with a 1455 OPS.
Oh,
Dirty.
Gets that slider to bend around and hit the outside corner, and that retires the side. A very efficient and surgical bottom of the 1st for Jake Diekman and Eminent. And now we go to the top of the 2nd. Here's Aaron Hicks.
Fantastic pitching there by Eminent, and to go with his hitting, you understand why he's here in this final when you can do both of those factors.
Aaron Hicks swings at a changeup and sends it back foul. Danny in the chat says, holy dot on that last pitch to end the previous inning.
That was pure filth.
Hicks sends another one foul.
Hicks.
He's down to the count 1-2.
Aaron Hicks is definitely one of those cards where you're not going to look at his stats and be like, I must take this guy, but believe me, you must take this guy. He is brilliant in VR.
All over that curveball, but whips it foul. He's still down in the count 1-2.
Again, I have a barometer that if I have a 1400 OPS with somebody, then somebody who's actually good at the game probably should have like a 2000 OPS.
Here we go. Here's the 1-2 from Nate Pearson. And that one's sent up the middle, and it's another hit.
Get the real Tap Scott in the chat. Excellent, excellent hitter. Shouts to him. What's going on, Tap Scott?
All right, so we're going to have Willie Calhoun come off the bench.
Now coming into pinch hit.
Is that going to be it for Pearson? I think it has to be, right?
Yeah. So he's going to bring out Jake McGee.
Now, McGee got trounced last time. He's going to answer right away, probably with Brasso or Upton. He can go either way, really. He's got a really deep bench. All 5 of these guys can hit. I think Rogers probably going to be saved for the speed, but the other 4 are great hitters. So he's going to go Brasso, real-life hero against Aroldis Chapman for the Rays. lefty killer.
Ooh, that sounded good, and it is good. Base hit through the left side. And it's first and second, no one out for a second consecutive inning. Eminent is able to get his first 2 batters out on board.
So Jake McGee got trounced last time out, and you notice that he has Alex Gordon in the starting lineup, and he didn't give him an at-bat either time. Now, it happened to be that he was facing McGee both times, but I do wonder if he's putting Gordon out there as bait and then going to use Tucker or Upton depending on who his opponent was going to pitch there. I think this was a strategical move wherein Alex Gordon was never going to get an at-bat even against a righty.
This is Justin Upton, who's down in the count 0-2. Looks at a ball 1 there. That sinker misses high and away. So once again, Eminent, and that is going to be extra bases down the line. 1 run will score. Upton will slide in safely to second, and it's a double, and Eminent extends his lead to a 3-0 advantage.
There's a lot of great bronzes out there, and Jay Up is absolutely one of them. It reminds me of Mark Trumbo, but with outfield eligibility, whereas Trumbo is first base. I mean, he has outfield too, but Jay Upton is very similar to him, where he crushes the ball, and we saw it there. And now Castellanos with 2 on, nobody out.
Uh-oh, and that's a no-doubter. L2 on him. Nicholas Castellanos.
Do it.
Just put game 2
L2.
out of reach. Got a L2.
L2
Got a
on.
L2. Oh, L2. One time for the one time.
So much respect.
Oh, and Giambi. Eminent's going back-to-back. It's raining homers at Ship It. And it's now 6-0.
This is what we expected. And, you know, I wondered if Yadier would go back to McGee. He did it for the platoon advantage, but I wonder if you don't just go with your diamond reliever just to get the better reliever out there as opposed to worrying about, getting that platoon advantage, especially against somebody like Eminent. I think I just go with my best stats and I don't worry about the actual platoon advantage because it doesn't matter with guys like this. And now he's going to bring in Betances again, who also got crushed last game.
All right, so here's Betances facing Jonathan Scope. Hey, what are the chances that Eminent would take a friendly quit now?
Thankfully, you can't
Any
friendly
chance?
quit
No?
in BR.
Oh,
They
no?
should get rid of friendly quits. People ducking each other left and right. It's so lame. Just play.
All right, Betances is able to get...
Even at 6,
yes,
it's not out of reach yet, and we have to put some respect on Yadi's name. He can come back. Eminent's playing brilliantly right now, but the caliber of hitters that are in this tournament, 6 isn't even out of reach with two times left to bat.
And we did see Yadier able to have a brief little rally in his last inning in Game 1, a rally that ultimately came up short. And that's why Eminent has a 1-0 series lead and on the verge of taking a 2-0 series lead. So he draws a walk there. This will bring up Paul DeYoung.
Now, between McGee and Betances, both of whom got rocked last game, I might have brought McGee back at some point, but never would have brought Betances back, even though he is going to get an out here. I don't trust him.
And you see we're giving you the series status on the bottom portion of your screen. Eminent took Game 1, 8-4. Leading here in Game 2 over Yadier, 6-0. Looking for more with Eduardo Escobar and a runner at first.
Been talking about those sneak tip silvers all day. Eduardo Escobar is absolutely one of them. I have a near 500 average with him.
Here,
which if you put that in the calculator,
choice.
If you put that in the good player calculator, that's going to register like an 812 batting average. Because my conversion rate of being terrible to good will put you up in the 800s.
I love that stat, the good conversion stat. I love it. All right, so here we go.
Look, I know my level, you know.
Chris Martin, who started Game 1, now out of the pen in Game 2.
Love it.
And we're going to see Yadier get some activity up in his bullpen, looking for a big comeback here. Second inning, he's trailing 6-0. Here's Jonathan Scope.
Now, one of the main things we have not seen from him, we don't see it again here, although it does pay off, is a lack of patience. I think to get back in this, he's going to need to display patience. That hit notwithstanding. That was a well-struck ball there on that sinker that hung. And
it's back-to-back pitches, back-to-back swings, and back-to-back hits. So it's going to be extra bases for Moreland. Scope is going to have to hold at third. Doesn't have a great deal of speed. But Yadier has some trouble here, or has a threat going in the bottom of the second. Second and third, no one out.
Okay,
Here's
so
Luis Robert.
I preach patience, but if you're going to hang sinkers right down the middle, even I'm going to swing at those first pitch.
So we saw Luis Robert homer in this tournament. Part of a series clinching victory for Yadier and in his Samo final win. Semi? One of the two, but he goes down swinging.
Close.
Here's Dansby Swanson.
Help us out.
There we go. All right, so a big strikeout there for Eminent there, Paul.
Yeah, that was huge to get Luis Robert out. He's an excellent card. Does have to get the righty out here, though. Dansby Swanson is heavily tilted towards righties. And there you see why.
Goes down and gets it, and that is smoked to right, and it is gone. And just like that, the lead is cut into half.
Now look, we know who the chat's going for, but you got to put some respect on what Yadier's doing this inning. He's absolutely hitting remarkably well, and he's cut the lead in half, and that's why even a 6-0 lead isn't safe.
So one out. It's now 6-3. Fly ball, right field. This is playable for the right fielder, and that's out number 2. Obviously, at this point, Eminent just counting outs. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
Gonna get Meadows. I would probably take Chris Martin out here. The confidence is pretty tanked, and he's in yellow stamina, so I think it's time to get him out. Which I've been surprised by Chris Martin not really answering the call here in either game so far. Normally a very reliable reliever. He's been pretty rough.
Okay, so he's going to elect to have Martin pitch to Meadows. I wonder what his bullpen activity is like. Did he not have anyone up in the pen in time?
Maybe get that mound visit going.
Yep.
We know that if he had gone to a lefty, we would have seen Yadier flip to, who is it, Mark Trumbo that he usually goes to? I forget who his main righty batter is. They're going to stay in? Nope.
There's a fly ball. So
I know Meadows is a key player for
this inning.
Meadows is a key player for a lot of folks, but he only has a 723 OPS with him, so he's not that great with him.
But he's run the count full here to 3-2.
Definitely
Here's the
last
payoff
batter
pitch.
for Martin.
And that
no.
will get past the right fielder. Meadows on his way to second. So the perfect sinking liner goes past the right fielder, and the inning is extended, and I bet we have a pitching change.
As Destroyer points out, Chris Martin is the imposter. That was rough. I think he is a bronze hiding as a gold there. I saw him venting last inning.
Phil Necro with some dynamite insight in the chat. Those broadcasting lessons, Phil Necro, are really paying off. Here's Xavier Edwards. Here's Drew Pomeranz out of the pen, and he gets him swinging and missing. So 3 runs come across. That, at the moment, leaves Yadier within striking distance, but as we've seen, Eminent can score in bunches.
That was huge to get Xavier Edwards out there, because you don't want David Dahl to come up with runners on base. Keeps it at 3. You still have a 3-run lead here. He's got an opportunity to tack on, and if he does, it's obviously going to be remarkably difficult for Yadier to come back. But even if he only keeps it at a 3-run lead, I still think Eminent's sitting pretty well right here. Let's see what he's got against Gagne, first time in the finals here.
And here's Aaron Hicks. Down in the count 0-2. He sends one to left, and that will roll to the wall, and that's going to be extra bases. Aaron Hicks
Look where that pitch
just
was.
serves it out there.
He bowled that one in, and he went and got it. A, because Hicks is a G, but also because Eminent's awesome. And that's what these quality hitters can do. They go get pitches out of the zone. I think sometimes people in the community are like, I threw it out of the zone, it can't be a hit. That's not really how it works. If the PCI can get to it, you can give up a hit.
And look at where that Vulcan change was that Hicks sent. And here's another base hit. Hicks going to try to score from second. No, they're going to hold him at third.
Smart.
So back-to-back hits to open the inning for Eminent as he looks for insurance here in this third inning.
Now, if we were to go deeper than 3 innings, that's his last pinch hitter.
That's true. Good point. Something to keep an eye on. Obviously, Eminent hoping that is not the case.
I like the move, though. Kyle Tucker with runners at the corners. Obviously, you're not letting Drew Pomeranz hit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, you can't put that one there.
Hanging curveball. Perfect, perfect. Get up and get out.
L2.
Kyle Tucker. L2. L2 for the one time. He didn't do it.
So much respect. So respectful.
Man, a big 3-run homer for Kyle Tucker. And Eminent opening up some distance.
Off the bench.
Just a perfect hanging curveball that he just smashed to left field.
If you're Yadier right now, down 6, top 3, facing an 0-2 deficit, is there any of your pitchers that you trust against Eminent? Or are you just trying to get outs in any way you can? I feel like there's no go-to right now, not even Pearson.
Right now, Eminent, there are no holes in his swing. There's no safe space against Eminent right now.
Giambi up lefty, it doesn't matter. Giambi's a beast.
1 ball, 1 strike.
A changeup up and away, fouled off, and Giambi's behind in the count 1-2. That ball misplayed by Scope, and Giambi is aboard.
Now, if you believe in karma and that everything kind of evens out, then all the breaks that Yadier got to get here are now coming due. And sometimes when the debts are due, you got to pay them.
Well, that and Eminent's a beast, apparently. And Jonathan Scope, high fly ball. Left field, going back at the wall, and it's out of here.
Boom.
Another homer for Eminent. It's a 2-run homer. And Eminent is making a statement here in Game 2.
He really is. He's absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. And, 8 runs with only 1 inning, that starts to feel pretty severe. And there's another one. Zach Collins.
And there's another no-doubter. There you go. L2. Finally, we get the L2. And yes, is it the most sportsmanlike thing to do? No. Does the chat demand it? Yes.
I love it. I'm here for it. It's not really disrespect so much to Yachty as it is just celebration of putting up 12 runs in a final when $15K is on the line in a $25,000 prize pool. AJ Minter getting trounced, by the way. I think we're going to have a hitter pitching at some point if Yadier isn't careful.
Grounded to third, throw across to first, good for out number 2. But just some big-time offense, a big-time offensive explosion.
They're going to kill you for the way you just said offense. Chat is going to.
I know. Offense.
Yeah,
maybe
offense.
I should have said it like offense, Canadian? Offense, organization. Eminent is running a great organization right about now. All right, so he's got some options here, and he has breathing room, leading with a big lead here in this third inning.
Let me ask you something. Would you want to see the standard BR stamina in something like this, or do you like that they're going to have all their pitchers available to them throughout? Okay, I kind of would too.
I would. What about you?
I think I would as well. I think it'd be really interesting to see how that could go. Now, listen, this is a setup. You work within the rules that we have, and I know that this is not the top rule set that people like because of the umpires and maybe the wind, but it's the rules that we've got. I think this is the opening salvo here in the esports realm, and I think we're going to get other things where maybe you have a stamina tournament with BR, or you have 9-inning games, or you have Legend, or you have All-Star. I think there's a lot of options that we can do, but as an opening salvo, I think this is pretty interesting setup here where you can actually use all your guys no matter what.
So the Rat asking what's the status of the series. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. You see Eminent has a 1-0 series lead and well on his way to taking a 2-0 series lead as he's leading 12-3 in the third inning. That's out number 1. Yadier down to his final 2 outs here in game 2.
Ground ball away from getting out of this.
Diving stop by the shortstop. He keeps it in front of him, but he can't get the runner at first. So there's now runners at first and second. It's ruled a base hit.
Great play to even make a throw there, to even make it competitive, but just too quick.
Oh, that sounded good from Mitch Moreland. And Yadier gets his perfect.
Drop the L2.
It's a home run festival at Ship It.
Inside the chat.
Okay, well, come on. Be the heel. Embrace being the heel, Yadier. You got to L2 that.
You gotta be, you don't want to do that when you're losing, but it would have been hilarious for us because we don't have to deal with the potential repercussions of it, Robert. That's why we're editing it out.
That is also true. Here's Luis Robert. And he will line out to
Big
center
out there.
for out number 2. All right, here's Dansby Swanson representing the final chance for Yadier. First pitch swinging. Fly ball, just got under it, but that will do it. And that is it. 2 games played, 2 games won by Eminent. And he is halfway home to a $15,000 first place check. Paul, Eminent has been impressive offensively.
He truly has, and again, he's kind of fit the blueprint of what I outlined earlier as far as the hitting being the driving force, the patience at the plate, and the lack of panic in case anything goes against him. And we really haven't seen the patience from Yadi, and I really think that that's what's costing him right now. You saw it right there with the Dansby at-bat. That was kind of a microcosm of what's been going on. First pitch swinging. You got to settle in, work these pitchers, get deep in the bullpen. We're seeing Eminent get into Yadi's bullpen, and he's facing guys like McGee and Betances and crushing them.
Do you think we see Nate Pearson again in Game 3?
You still have to go with him, even though it is difficult. That Eminent's definitely hitting him. He's not afraid of that 102 heat. You still have to go with your best. If you're going to go down, you got to trust your best. So I think I would still start him. Maybe you can get away with going Gagne and then bringing out Pearson, but I wouldn't get cute and go with any sort of silver because then Eminent will be up 4-0 before you blink.
Yeah. Now, Paul, I know everyone in the chat is team no money spent because they're ballers. They're all great. They're all goons at the game. They're team no money spent. But for those of us mere mortals that like to have the stubs, this is the week to do it, okay? Because we do have a stub sale going on right up until October 28th, up to 50% off. And remember, it is Griffey week, guys, so this might be a good time to jump on that stub sale up to 50% off. And the game itself, if you're watching this stream, you're new to the game, maybe you've thought about it, well, this is the time to go ahead and dive in. The game itself, standard edition, up to 50% off as we wind our way towards the end of the 2020 baseball season. All right, Game 3 still to come to this best of 7. Can Eminent take a commanding 3-0 lead, or can Yadier get on the board? We'll find out. Game 3 coming up after this.
CBS. Right. You can't see me. Hey. On your best day. Today or the next day. Never that. Can't see me.
プレイステーション
Right.
Welcome back. This is the Fall Circuit Championship. We have reached our championship series, and one of our players is halfway home to a title. Alongside streamer and baseball writer Paul Sporer, I'm Robert Flores from the MLB Network. Paul, Eminent out to a 2-0 lead over Yadier in this best of 7. What have you seen in the first 2 games?
Amazing hitting, and that's what I've come to expect from these top players. They stay patient, they stay focused, they never panic, and that's exactly what Eminent's delivering right now. He's put up huge barrages against Yadier right now, and he's got a commanding 2-0 lead, looking to get 3-0.
Yeah, Nate Pearson has been the mainstay and the staple for Yadier so far today, but he has been hit hard in these first 2 games as the velocity really doesn't seem to bother Eminent so far.
And I'll tell you what, if Mcgregor had an opportunity to play it back, I'm not sure that it would necessarily bother him. He seemed to be just a little bit behind, and he's probably ruining the fact that maybe he didn't practice a little bit against Velo to start his day. Eminent having no such trouble, so it's making Yadier go to the slider, which hasn't been nearly as effective, and then he's getting into that bullpen much quicker.
Yeah, so Eminent has controlled and really dominated the first 2 games. If he wins Game 3, that really puts a lot of pressure on Yadier. Obviously, Yadier hoping to turn the tide and take Game 3. We want to remind you, if you want to take part in some of these events, if you think you've got the skills on the sticks, go to compete.playstation.com to compete against the best. At the bottom of the screen, we'll give you the series status in just a moment, as you'll see throughout the game to see where our series stands. Once again, 3 innings, best of 7. Is the format here in this championship series as Yadier and Eminent prepare to take part in game number 3. You had talked about, Paul, about patience a lot in this tournament and in this event. It's something that we've seen a little bit from Eminent, but something that we really haven't seen at all from Yadier through the first 2 games.
No, and it seems to be getting him in trouble here, and that's why when he gets these big deficits, if he doesn't settle down, it could be a quick one here. We could absolutely possibly see a sweep. And we got Martin versus Pearson again. Yep.
Nicholas Castellanos, Jason Giambi, and Jonathan Scope will be the first 3 hitters for Eminent. No changes for Yadier. He'll be at the place for it. And for the first time, Paul, today we're at Nats Park and not at Ship It. What do you make of the move?
I'm stunned. I don't know that I expected to not be in Ship It for every single game. And a Major League Stadium at that, a lot of top players don't like playing at Major League Stadiums just for that little extra bit of lag due to the extra surroundings there in the Major League Stadiums. It can kind of throw them off a little bit. So we'll see if that changes anything. I do like that little diamond logo that he's got working, though. That's pretty clean.
Oh, that is nice. That's a very nicely done logo there on the field. All right, Eminent out on the field. He is the home team in game number 3, and he leads this best of 7, 2-0. Thanks to everyone watching and commenting into the chat. Real Tapscott is there. Craig's Burner, Kingfish the Show. Thanks to all you guys. And one of our semi-finalists, one of our competitors, McGreyhound TV, who lost to Yadier in the semifinals, is also in the chat. We say hello to him. Thanks for joining us. We are in a bit of a pause menu here.
Maybe checking out some things.
Yeah.
Oh, trying to restart. Eminent's trying to restart here, he says in the chat.
Okay. So maybe the fact that we were at Nats Park, maybe that was not planned and a mistake, and they want to go back to Ship It. I'm just guessing that's the reason here.
It probably broke the time-space continuum that we weren't in Ship It, and so he had to figure that out, go back in the time machine, and we'll get back to Ship It. I'm sure that's what we'll end up being. But, you know, Nats Park is an interesting choice, even if you were going to pick an MLB park, so I don't think he meant to do that. We'll see if he ends up putting himself back in Ship It there and keeps Chris Martin on the bump as well. I doubt we'll see any lineup changes or anything. It's probably just going to be a restart with a different ballpark.
All right, so we're waiting and standing by, getting ready to start game number 3. The winner of this series will walk home with $15,000 as part of a $25,000 prize pool. Second place finisher also walking home with a little do-re-mi. So the pressure is on the line. And I think that's an important part here because you brought it up, Paul, that, look, when we play this game and we get intense moments, we can feel it. But many of us have never played with this amount of money on the line.
No, not playing for anything, and it can be intense. Now you add in the pressure of this money, of this show here on twitch.tv/PlayStation, And the pressure starts to mount up. And, I think that has to be taken into consideration here when we're judging these folks for, maybe being a little impatient or taking some bad swings. It's going to happen. Both are still staying within their game, though, and they've gotten to this point here. And it'll be interesting to see if Yadier can come back, because I think maybe the nerves are getting to him a little bit. He's trying to get those runs back all in one fell swoop. It's going to take multiple quality at-bats to cover those deficits when you're down against Eminent by 6, 7, 8 runs.
There were a couple of people that have mentioned using the polo grounds. Me personally, I would not. That just
I think
seems
they're going
like
for an
exercise in frustration.
Yeah, they're going for an even bigger troll than we are when we were saying L to him. They want him to play in polo. That's insane.
All right, so it appears that the two players have talked about it, and they're just going to play it. So we're going to stay at Nats Park, and we pick it up with in the first inning, there is one
Xavier
out.
Edwards
We
third.
do have a runner at third. This is Ian Happ. All right, so Chris Martin in some early trouble here. Ian Happ smacks one foul, and he's down in the count 1-2.
Now, Yadier ended up getting a few buys to kind of help him along the way. I wonder if this was the same thing where maybe they put Yadier on third just to start the inning for him.
Ian Happ will line one to left. That will bring home Edwards, and it's a double, an RBI double for Ian Happ.
Oof.
So Yadier jumps on the board first, and it's 1-0.
I would not let Mitch Moreland get a righty here, and Chris Martin just has not performed the way I would have expected and the way I'm sure Eminent expected. And we see it here. He is going to go to Alec Boehm. That's who it was, Alec Boehm, that we've seen consistently. But I would not let Moreland have gotten that righty there. That would have been too much trouble.
All right, so a couple of chess moves early in this first inning. Diekman out of the pen. Alec Boehm pinch hitting for Mitch Moreland. And once again, the Boehm card is good. He looks like Jason Worth, who looks like Edge.
Uh-oh.
And Boehm
that looked better off the bat. Better swing than I thought there.
You see the PCI there just on the edge.
Yeah, keeping the edge theme going there. The way he kind of did that no doubt swing there looked like Boehm maybe thought he got it too, but it ended up being just a regular old fly out.
Here's a grounder to third, Luis Robert. And he is out, and that retires the side, but definitely some early moments and good moments for Yadier as he scores one run, and we go to the bottom of the first.
That's got to feel good after the last two games, but we know for a fact that Eminent is 0% panicked right now. He's going to stay on his game. He's got a .506 average with Castellanos coming in here. Let's see what he can do with his lineup now in the bottom of the first. Here's
the Lightning Nicholas Castellanos dealing once again with Nate Pearson. Castellanos has performed well at the plate in this series thus far, but here he gets under it. Fly ball in the infield. Boehm will settle underneath it, and that's out number one.
If one thing can tell you right away that we're seeing a different approach for Yachty versus Eminent as opposed to McGregor was the first pitch changeup. He's not going to the fastball nearly as much because he knows Eminent can hit it, and just like that.
Yeah, Jason Giambi going way back, and that is gone. The Giambi card continues to excel in this championship series. Another extra base hit for Giambi. And just like that, we're tied.
I may not be able to execute with the cards, but I can tell you which cards to draft, and I promise you that you will not regret taking any home run derby card. When home runs are the order du jour in 3-inning games, those juiced up power cards are the way to go.
Hey, quick story, Paul. So, like you, I'm even worse than you are at the game. But I once, as Jonathan Scope will ground it to third, jump throw to first in time, I once hit a homer off a contact swing with Ken Griffey, up and in. I don't know how I did it.
There it is.
With that home run derby card.
They're so sick, and like I said, because you need home runs, it's 3 innings. You're trying, one run can be the difference. I would take even the lowest rated of them. Even maybe like the Todd Frazier or the Dave Parker. If I see that pink home run derby border, I'm taking the card, no questions asked.
All right, so here is Nate Pearson. He's already given up a homer. And that's a bouncer up the middle. It's another base hit for Eminent. He's just like the Los Angeles Dodgers, Paul. He is relentless, and he does not quit with 2 outs.
That's a great comp, and he never panics. He's always in it, and he doesn't worry about going down. 1 run's nothing. I mean, that's a blip to him. I don't even think he'd panic going down 4 or 5 runs, though, to be honest.
1 ball, 2 strikes, count.
We've seen Eminent score 8 runs in an inning in this championship series. Oh, good swing, good pitch there, and Nate Pearson gets out of the inning, but not before giving up a run. So we're tied at 1 going into the second. Here's David Dahl.
That was big for Yadi to settle it down and keep it at 1. We've seen these offensive explosions from Eminent, so to keep that down to just 1 run was nice. I'll tell you this, though, Robert. He's not winning this series if he doesn't start putting up multiple runs. I mean, obviously, in this game, already it's 1-1. But if he doesn't start putting up 5, 6, 7 runs in some of these games, I just don't know that he can come back because Eminent's offense is so strong.
All right, tie game here, top of the second. This is Dansby Swanson, fouls off a slider.
2-2, count.
That one's in the
Diekman's been
dirt.
more good than
Evens the
bad.
count 2-2.
So I feel like Eminent has some trust in Diekman right now. And just as I say that, of course, he gives up a hit, I'm a jinx. I'm a giant jinx.
Oh, and Dansby Swanson beats the throw at first. We've seen in this
Remember, we saw
competition
in the,
already yes.
Yeah. In the sumo finals, we saw that when
that's
Cano
right.
got thrown out.
Cano got thrown out from right field. Here's James McCann.
Count at the ball. Count 1-0.
By the way, we've seen Dansby Swanson go the other way a couple of times. There with the base hit, earlier in the series with the homer.
Telling you, very good card. Kills righties and might make you think you don't want to take him because his numbers against lefties aren't that good. He can hit both sides, I promise you.
Uh-oh, Rexy. This one doesn't quite have the distance. Joe Smith is under it, and that's a big out number 2.
Tremendous out there. And we saw in the semifinals that he would regularly keep Pearson in for that second inning. You're not doing that against Eminent. You cannot afford to give away. Oh, no, he is. Oh, my God.
He is.
Oh, wow.
That's what I was going to say. It appears that he's going to.
I got to be honest. I think this is a bad decision. Now, it may play in his favor. He might get a hit. He's got a 333 average and 2 ribbies. I'm sure that's just a couple of hits, like 2 for 6 or something. But I don't like this move.
Oh, but Nate Pearson will line it to second. He throws across to first. Good contact there, especially by a pitcher, but that's how that side is retired. So we go to the bottom of the second. Pearson obviously remains on, dealing with Eduardo Escobar.
I know that the bullpen has not really held up for Yadier. That's probably what drove that decision. But you have a runner on. I don't think you can give up at-bats. Not against this guy. And
high fly ball.
Oh, no, that didn't carry.
At the track, caught by the left fielder, so allowed out number 1. Here's Aaron Hicks.
You have to pardon me for being fooled on that and ship it. It would have been 14 rows deep.
Remember, the first 2 games of this series were played at Ship It, and we're obviously at Nats Park here. And we have 2 quick outs in the bottom of the second. Willie Calhoun. And that's usually the game plan. He's usually the first one off the bench for Eminent.
Willie Calhoun smacks. Hitting 400. Really nice bronze off the bench. Can play a few different positions, too, if you end up having to use him in the field after a pinch hit situation.
Oh, that is sent deep, but playable. And that's good for out number 2. All right, so we go to the top of the third.
All right, so now we're going to see Drew Pomeranz, who we've seen regularly. Meanwhile, Yadi's going to get his Minter and Gagne cards. Minter's probably been the best reliever that he's had. Everyone else has felt the punishment for sure.
Starts off Xavier Edwards with a ball inside. It's 1-0.
He's absolutely been a catalyst for Yadier throughout the semifinals and finals here. Let's see what he can do. He got on with a triple earlier and then ended up scoring for the first run for Yadier.
Edwards ahead in the count, 3-0. Jonathan Scope on deck, looming.
straight take all the way for me. Looks like it was for Yadier as well.
The count is full.
Edwards tripled in his first at-bat and eventually came home to score. It's now 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch.
Nope. Ball four.
And he draws a walk. There's
Gotta
some of
get
that
that speed
patience
on
you were
base,
talking
too.
about that you hadn't seen from Yadier so far.
Oh, that's out.
That's huge, and it really has been absent. So to see him actually have patience, take a walk, get that speed on, that one might hang
Jonathan
up.
Scope, high fly ball, center field. Edwards will head back to first, and that's out number 1.
Now I wonder if he gets the runner going here at all, or just keeps him on first. You would hate to give up an out on the bases, though, so I would be inclined to not try to steal, especially with as good as Happ is, and he had a double earlier that drove in Edwards back in the first.
There's a pitch down the middle, sent deep to right center. Center fielder is there, and that's out number 2. If you're new to the stream, if you're just joining us, we've got the series status at the bottom of your screen. You see it right there. Eminent leading 2-0 in this best of 7. Game 3 here is tied at 1 in the top of the 3rd.
No strike.
Having that missing that one is rough. That was right down the middle there for him. You see Bohm up again. Remember, he came in for Moreland, and he gets a lefty again, so that actually works out for Yadier, and now he's got him 3-0.
Nope, that's ball four. Take the
And he's walked Alec Bohm, and now we've got Luis Robert. And, Paul, we've seen Luis Robert go deep today.
We saw him with an actual 3-run homer. He's got an opportunity to do that again. It was one of those drifters out and ship it. Let's see what he's got here.
1-0.
At this point, I'm not swinging until I get a strike. When you throw 5 balls in a row, no chance. See, I mean, he would have gotten a strike either way, but I would have just waited till he threw me a strike.
Oh, that one is hit sharply but foul. And Bohm is down, Luis Robert, down to the count 1-2. Sharply hit to third, and he lines out to end the inning. So Eminent able to work his way out of a bases-loaded jam, and he'll lead off the bottom of the 3rd with Alex Gordon.
That's some fantastic pitching there by Eminent to keep things tight there with a couple runners on. Big threat, nothing comes of it. And just as I suspected, this Alex Gordon is bait, because it's the first time we've seen him as a righty, and Eminent just wants to see what pitcher's going to be in there. And now that it is going to be a righty, he's going to go to Tucker. If it had been a lefty, he'd have gone to Upton.
First pitch swing,
I kinda like
grounds
that
out
move.
to short. So Tucker, who has gone deep in this series, swings at the first pitch and grounds out to the shortstop for out number 1. Here's Nicholas Castellanos.
Inside, ball 1.
His tightest game we've seen now, 1-1 here into the 3rd. He has an opportunity to walk it off, though, and he's got the top of his lineup. Pearson at 26
Castellanos ahead in the
pitches.
count 2-0 on Nate Pearson.
I wouldn't throw him a fastball.
Oh, high fastball sent way back, going back, and it is out of here. Nicholas Castellanos. It's a go-ahead homer for Eminent. It's a walk-off homer.
Walk-off.
He walks it off, and it's 3-0 series advantage for Eminent.
I mean, what did I say? You can't throw him a
Wow.
fastball there. It's like I just feel like that's a unforced error there, that you either have to go with the off-speed stuff, and if he takes a walk, he takes a walk. If he hits one of the off-speed pitches out, Eminent's on the fastball at this point. I think that's clear. You cannot throw Castellanos a fastball there.
And that's the key here. I think through the first 3 games of this series, unlike our previous series, Eminent can get to velocity. Velocity is not proving to be an issue for him. He can hit velocity, and he can do damage with it.
And I'll tell you, like I said earlier, Mcgregor definitely kicking himself because he knows he was this close on that heat. And if he got another opportunity, he'd probably be able to hit it, because the best players hit velocity. You don't get this far in a tournament like this without being able to hit it. And he knows that he was just missing some of those. And Eminent's not. And we're seeing it on full display.
All right, so Eminent, a win away from $15,000. Second place finisher is going to walk away with some money, too, as part of a $25,000 prize pool. Paul, if you are Yadier, you obviously find yourself down 3-0. Your room for error is very small. What are you thinking here, game 4?
Dial up the patience again. You know, we've been hitting that home quite a bit. It was working there. He got some base runners on. He couldn't cash in. Even though I know that we're talking about how Eminent's on that fastball, I think you still have to go with Pearson. You still have to go down fighting with your best. I think the approach just has to be different. Fastballs that can't leak over the heart of the plate, and then a lot of off-speed stuff. And then you got to figure out something with the bullpen. There's no answers against Eminent. Sometimes you get backed into a corner against these guys, and you just don't know what to do. But he's going to have to hit, and we know that. You're going to have to score more runs. He had an opportunity there. He needed to win that game when Eminent's only scoring 2 runs.
Yeah, and you know, Paul, while it really hasn't come back to haunt him because his offense has been so good, Eminent really hasn't done much with his starter, Chris Martin. Do you think we see him going with Chris Martin as his starter for game 4?
No, I think we're going to see somebody different because he really hasn't answered the bell. And if I'm Eminent, I don't even want to give Yadier any life in this one. I want to end it here 4-0 and become the king of the chat because he's got a lot of folks behind him right now. So I don't think we see Martin leading off the game. I think he might be putting him in the bullpen there and maybe kind of burying him a little bit because he's not answering the bell.
Well, we have seen blowout wins or wins with a little bit of a margin, and then we see a 1-run victory for the first time in this series, and it goes by the way of Eminent. He leads this best of 7, 3-0. He is on the verge of a $15,000 first place prize check. And Paul, we take a look here. Nate Pearson goes for Yadier. Jake Diekman will get the start for Eminent. What do you make of that move?
There it is. You know, Martin, like I said, great card, usually very good, just not getting it done. We're back out to ship it here, and I like it going with Diekman. Diekman can be nasty, and if you get dialed in with him, watch out because his stuff moves like crazy.
All right, so we're back at ship it. There was a little bit of confusion, and I think there was a mistake in that we ended up at Nats Park for game 3, but both players decided, you know what? Let's just play through it. We're back at the friendly confines of Ship It Stadium. And Nicholas Castellanos leading off for Eminent, as already we're getting some bullpen activity for Eminent as Jake Diekman will get the start. But Nicholas Castellanos leading off here in the first inning against Nate Pearson. We're underway.
Let's see if he gets that fastball again. Oh, he does. Wow. Wow, I'm surprised. The same exact fastball that he just hit out for the walk-off. I thought for sure he'd come off speed with him. He goes back-to-back heater. That's gutsy.
And Castellanos remains red hot, starts it off with a sharply hit single to left.
Careful with that cheddar. You got away with 2 there. I wouldn't have gone back to the 3rd. And then he puts 2 nice pitches in there. Holy smokes.
Yeah, pitching Giambi backwards. Giambi took him deep in game 3, excuse me. And he just took him deep in game 4. Back-to-back games with a homer for Jason Giambi, and just like that, it's 2-0.
You can't throw heaters that can leak over the heart of the plate. I know it's easier said than done. A lot of times pitchers have a mind of their own. But like even that one, you know, he swung through it, but that's such a dangerous pitch. You have to be working the corners a bit more, and I think he needs to tighten up, and yikes.
And we're going to L2 on him because Jonathan Skoke just went deep. It's an early statement for Eminent. He's out in front 3-0.
Watch Collins do it again, too. He's challenging him with that heater, and he's losing the challenge. So I don't understand why he continues to do it.
So on the Giambi at-bat, Paul, he pitched him backwards to open the at-bat, and then did he get beat on a fastball?
Yep, down and in. And just caught too much at the plate. And that's been kind of the issue here with these fastballs. And again, I know that, you know, Nate Pearson's not a control artist. And again, pitchers can kind of have a mind of their own. So it's easier said than done sometimes. But I'd be working the corners. There's another one.
Oh, good night,
Middle
nurse.
cheddar. Yeah, it's over when you're doing that.
Paul DeYoung. It is.
Brilliant first name.
It is a brilliant first inning for Eminent. He is ready to end this thing right now.
Still only has one out, too, and Eduardo Escobar up just missed that hanging slider. I think you got to get Pearson out at this point. His confidence has to be shot.
Yeah, Yadier had used Pearson he rode Pearson to the finals, and here in the last couple of games especially, Nate Pearson has been roughed up badly.
And now he takes a walk.
Okay, so Paul,
no
you're
way you can
Yadier. You're Yadier. You're down 3-0, and you're down 3-0 in the series, and now you're down 4-0 in a potential clinching game for your opponent. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm in big trouble there. He got a very fortunate one there because that was another bad pitch, but it ends up going into the first baseman's glove for the double play. I'm thinking that I really got to dial in some patience here and try to make a comeback, start chiseling away. And listen, that's a hittable first pitch, and he's going to hit this one. It's not so much that you can't get hits by swinging early in the count, but it's an overall pattern that to get into the bullpen, to get deeper, to put your opposition into some trouble, you have to be patient. That's what drives success in this game.
All right, so a leadoff double for Xavier Edwards. So a good reply here for Yadier as he is down 4-0 here, down 3-0 in the series. As you see here, the score at the bottom, the series status, excuse me, at the bottom of your screen. David Dahl sends a screamer and hit well, but that is foul. Dahl swinging
is good
again.
Lefty. Yeah, he'll pop that one up, but he can hit lefty-lefty. He's got pretty balanced metrics, and you saw he's hitting like 530 with him, so tough one to miss there, but otherwise he's very good. I recommend David Dahl a lot.
Ty Lawton in the chat. JG Abs also in the chat. Thanks for watching us.
I thought you were going to say JG Wentworth.
Phantom TV. Jake Diekman misses high. It's 1-2.
Baseball King, Real J. Velez. See y'all out there. Bugaslays. Shetty.
Grounder there to short.
Out.
That's out number 2. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Paul Sporer, Robert Flores here with you. Game 4 of this best of 7. Eminent leading this series 3-0 and leading this game 4-0 after a 4-run opening salvo.
Yeesh.
Scope, fly ball, foul ground. That's going to retire the side. And after a promising leadoff double, it comes and goes by the wayside.
Yep, the nastiness of Diekman there. And he has the luxury that he doesn't even have to stick with Diekman. He's obviously going to take him out. But he pitched so well there that you could almost have considered going two innings with him. Speaking of going 2 innings, he's sticking with Pearson here, Yadier is, and I greatly dislike that move.
Yeah, I don't understand the move as well. He's already given up 4 runs. He's been hit pretty hard in the past couple of games, but on for his second inning of work in this game and dealing with Alex Gordon is due up, but as we have seen, Eminent likes to use Kyle Tucker as a pinch hitter.
Kyle Tucker or Justin Upton, he goes to whomever based on the pitcher. You know what's interesting about this, though, as he grounds out for the second out? He's using Alex Gordon as bait, and he still has a 1,500 OPS with him. So even the guys he doesn't want to use, he has a 1,500 OPS with.
Here's Nicholas Castellanos. He singled to get that big first inning started. It was highlighted with a Jason Giambi homer. And there is another extra base hit for Nicholas Castellanos. That card is so sweet, Paul. The swing is so pure.
It's brilliant. And you know what? It carries over to his live series, too. You can definitely use that live series if you want. But if you see that player of the month come up, you've got to take that Nicholas Castellanos. He's awesome.
Here's Jason Giambi. Looks at a changeup. It's 2-1. 101 well outside.
Sometimes you take pitches that you can hit just to force them into a deeper count. He ends up getting the walk there. He could have handled that changeup that was on the outside corner there. But maybe you bait him into throwing it again, or you get deep enough to take a walk. It's not always about swinging at everything that you can possibly hit. And there's one that goes in Yadier's favor there on the imperfect umpires.
Yeah, Blue, what are you talking about here? That was a ball. Here's a ball that's sent straight up, shallow center field, and that will retire the side. So Yadier is running out of outs. He only has one hit, has no runs. As we go to the bottom of the second, trailing in this best of 7, 3-0.
Big opportunity, big inning here for Yadier. He's got to have something come through for him. It kind of goes without saying, but you're down 3-0 in the series, 4-0 in the game. If you don't put something on the board here, you're really going to be up against it in the 3rd inning. So let's see what he can do here against Drew Pomeranz and company in the bullpen. And he still has Chris Martin lurking, who, while he hasn't performed, is still a good card. So it's one of those things where it's like, he hasn't been good, but you know that he can have good innings.
All right, meantime, Bohm, first pitch swinging. Again, he needs base runners, Paul. He needs base runners, and the first pitch swinging, I'm not sure it's serving him. I'm not sure it's serving him well at this point.
It really isn't, and I hate to be a broken record on it, but again, that's what drives success. You go watch a pitching rebel, your friend Kyle Magunsky, many other excellent players. What are you going to see? They spit on pitches left and right. Their patience is incredible, and that's what leads to them being such fantastic hitters. There's a positive, perfect correlation.
And he looks at ball 2 there, evens the count at 2-2. Luis Robert, he's gone deep in this postseason here for Yadier. He's now run it full to 3-2. Dansby Swanson on deck.
Chatter.
Goes outside the zone. Fly ball right side and caught. Oh, no.
Oh.
It lands in the stands.
That's a patented Yachty break right there. Let's see if he capitalizes. Nope.
Oh, and he does not. Swing and a miss. Out number 2 in the bottom of the second. There's Dansby Swanson. Fly ball. Deep left field. At the track and at the wall. He makes the catch. And that retires the side. So good contact there for Yadier, but it ends up being a loud out number 3. And we go to the top of the 3rd.
A few good plate appearances, but he's still just not fully within his game here. And it's clear who's having the better at-bats, inning in and inning out, and that is definitely eminent.
All right, here's Zach Collins dealing and facing Eric Gagne.
And there's another one.
That's primarily
a fastball. I was going to say he can handle that pitch, but he takes it to kind of get deeper into account. Sometimes you take pitches that you can hit, and it's not about swinging at every single pitch that you can hit. It's an overall plan to get deeper, to work the count, to lessen the stamina of the pitcher.
And Collins sends a routine fly ball to left for out number 1. Here's Paul DeYoung, who hit a solo homer in the first. First pitch swinging, comes up empty on a slider. Hey, shout out to one of our good friends, Big Old Buck, in the chat.
Got to be loving seeing Paul DeYoung. He doesn't love seeing him strike out, though. Big Cardinals fan, but Paul DeYoung has had a lot of damage in this series. What up, Buck?
All right, here's Eduardo Escobar. That sounded good, and it is good.
Oof. Oof. Also, shouts to Eric Moreno, Nats fan, Dart Wolf, Switch Wave. Hope y'all are doing well.
KMC, appreciate you watching. Thank you. Phantom TV, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Here we are in game number 4. Eminent on the verge of $15,000 first place prize, leading 3-0 in the series, 4-0 in the game. High fly ball, center field, going back at the wall, and it will stay in the park. All right, last cuts for Yadier. He's down 4-0, Paul. 3 outs left.
And we know what he has to do. He has to settle down and go at-bat by at-bat. You can't get all 4 back in one at-bat. You know, you have to at least get 3 runners on. Then you can do it, obviously, for the grand slam. You have to have some patience there. Like, again, I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not hitting, but you can't swing at that pitch. For me, when I get into these funks,
swing and a miss.
I take till I get a strike automatically. Put the controller in my lap. Just until I get it. It might be the first pitch, but at least you're having a plan. And right now I'm worried that Yachty lacks a plan because get breaks isn't usually a good plan because it'll run out eventually.
Nope, that's the ball.
Well, he's takes a look at a ball there. He's even 2-2. Oh, that sounded good, and it is. Out of here. James McCann on a perfect goes high and deep and out to straightaway center, and there's life in Yadier's tournament. Still trailing 4-1.
Can't be coincidental that a deeper at bat results in a big home run there. I mean, again, I'm broken recording it, but I'm going to continue to say it. Be patient, get deep in the counts, you'll have better results. He's trying to bait him here to go to a righty so that he can bring in Austin Meadows, is my guess.
And we're going to see Chris Martin. We've seen Chris Martin start a couple of games, and this is the matchup that you talked about. Austin Meadows against Chris Martin. Sixers 1982. Flattery will get you everywhere every time. Thank you for the shout out. Appreciate that. Here's Austin Meadows. I must say, Paul, I think some of them are being a little bit gratuitous and disingenuous with their compliments, but we'll take it.
Yeah, they're just trying to get shouted out. It's so very clear. I think this reliever move was a cold play by Eminent there as he gets the first out.
All right, so here's Xavier Edwards, out number 1. Grounder up the middle, and that will find the outfield. So still just he's a couple of batters away. He needs 2 more men on to get that tying run at the plate.
Xavier Edwards has been one of his best players, and David Dahl.
Again, first pitch swinging. And it's a fly ball, and it's out number 2.
I just don't know. Again, I get that there's pressure. I want to be charitable here and understand that there's a lot of pressure. But I feel like it's kind of rule 1 when you get to the top level is to express some patience there.
1-1.
Even on a hittable pitch like that. So now just 1 out away from $15,000 for Eminent.
2-1.
Eminent leading this best of 7, 3-0. Here's the 2-1. Ian Happ swing and a miss, and now Yadier is down to his final strike.
Robert, do you
trailing
think he'll give us a
4-1.
cut?
I don't think that is in the cards. History would tell us no.
3-2.
Yeah, history would tell us no.
Well,
Here's the full count. Payoff pitch. The runner at first is on the move. Ian Happ at the plate. Payoff pitch from Martin. And that's good contact. And that should score a run. Into the alley. Up against the wall. Happ is in with a double. Edwards comes around to score. And it's now 4-2. So, Paul, he will get the tying run at the plate in this 3rd inning.
he's not dead yet. That was a great at-bat, a great piece of hitting there by Happ. Let's see what Eminent answers with, and it's going to be Joe Smith here. A little bit of pressure now on Eminent for the first time in a while with Jonathan Scope coming up, who we know is very good.
Yeah, Jonathan Scope can tie this game with one swing. Oh, Real Javi in the chat says, now it gets interesting. You're absolutely right, Javi. It's very interesting. Oh, ball will get away, get past the catcher, roll back all the way to the backstop, and Happ is now at third.
That run doesn't matter that much, but it's still nice. And again, it might rattle. Eminent, never mind.
And it won't. Grounded to short, throw over to first, in time. Eminent. It's a clear sweep. It's the Eminent domain. It's an Eminent front. Congratulations to Eminent. Boys. It's a clean GG's. It's a clean sweep. He was dominant. That game was very close. It's the closest one of the series. But offensively, there was a clear separation between Eminent and Yadier in this series.
And, you know, when I outlined the keys to victory earlier about patience and hitting, we saw that a lot from Eminent. We saw it in bursts from Yadi, but I think he lost his patience at different times there.
Yeah, we're going to go through the highlights here. Here's a look at game one. And this is Yadier doing damage here with Jonathan Scope, who ultimately made the final out of this series. And then
we saw this
using a little small ball to get the run home.
I thought that was actually a pretty sharp play there. If you're going to keep Pearson in, go for the bunt. And it was a well-executed bunt at that.
But, Paul, this was a big 8-run second inning for Eminent as he was surgical offensively.
Yeah, you see he got a couple little bleeders there, but then he's going to put up some big hits. So he took advantage of those little breaks.
And there's Nicholas Castellanos. rattles one into the corner, and that scored 2. And that
On
gave
that one,
him
I
the
thought he
lead
might get the
in
back
game 1.
pick too, because sometimes guys take forever to turn back around. And then this shot here.
Yeah, the Jason Giambi card was a real factor for Eminent in this series.
Casti and Giambi as a 1-2 punch was devastating. The righty-lefty power combo.
Oh, and then the no doubt animation from Zach Collins. I think we may have gotten an L2 if memory serves in this game.
One of the Zach Collins hits, and he did a lot of damage there. And so, I think we saw 2 White Sox catchers, James McCann and Zach Collins. If you didn't know about them, you know about them now. You should draft both of them in your next BR. Uh-oh. That one was a
I don't know
shot.
Is there a better feeling than when you get that no doubt home run animation? And we saw
Absolutely
it
not.
back-to-back times here.
And then when you get it with the perfect too. One thing you can say undoubtedly is that the perfect noise that they put in this year is one of the best additions of MLB 20.
And you and I
then
were
set the
pushing
bat
for
down.
the L2, and we got the L2 here via Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, that was so nice. The bat set down is a great troll. And then here in Nats
And
Park,
Jason
the only game we
Giambi.
didn't see and ship it.
That's right. There was a little bit of confusion, but Game 3 was at Nats Park. But you know what? Eminent
There's the
said,
walk-off.
I don't really care. I'm going to continue to hit tanks, whether we're at Ship It, whether we're at Nats Park, whether we're at Yellowstone Park. I'm going to walk it off.
And we're seeing just an absolute clinic by Casti and Giambi. These are not the same replays. They did this much damage throughout the series.
And look at that, how he gets to the
young.
velocity. Look at the velocity. That came in at 101. It left at 110.
It didn't matter, and that was the thing about Pearson. He was in trouble for Yadier early, and there was nowhere to turn, though. You still have to trust your Diamond 99. You drafted him for a reason.
Hey, but give Yadier some credit here. In this 4th game, he shows some life. Ian Happ brings in a run to cut it to 4-2. He got the tying run at the plate in Jonathan Scope, but Scope grounds out to short. And that is how the series comes to an end. And here's how it all went down. Yadier able to beat McGrayhound in one semifinal. And then Eminent gets a walk in his matchup, but ultimately finds his way to the championship where he walks all over Yadier and sweeps him 4-0. Just your takeaways from what we saw today in both the semifinals and the championship series, Paul.
I got to be honest, even if Kay Kuzman had gotten up earlier, I'm not sure he would have had much of an opportunity against Eminent, which is more of a compliment to Eminent than any shade on Kuzman. Eminent put on the clinic that you expect from the top players with the excellent hitting, the brilliant patience, and home runs galore. It was awesome. Yadier played well, but he was inconsistent. I think that was the trouble that he got into there, particularly with the approach that he had with Pearson. He needed to change it up and stop using the fastball so much.
Yeah, a couple of factors, and we talked about it. His ability to catch up to the velocity and really make Yadier pay. And Jason Giambi, you cannot throw any pitch down and in. That is the nitro zone for most left-handed hitters, and certainly for that Jason Giambi home run derby card.
And I told you that Pitching Rebel, arguably the best player in the entire community, has recommended Jason Giambi to me. And if that didn't give you the endorsement that you need, if Rebel's endorsement wasn't enough, you saw the clinic that was just put on there. Every home run derby card is a stud, but Jason Giambi is slept on, and he is a remarkable card.
I'm looking at the comments in the chat. T-Ramp drops in with, Eminent didn't lose a single game during the entire tournament. I can't confirm that. We don't have a stats and research department, but you know what? It kind of feels like it's right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And did you notice, we saw briefly, he uses meter pitching. Everyone thinks like analog is the only way to go. You can be successful with meter. It all comes down to hitting. So however you figure out your pitching, whether it's pulse, meter, or analog, I don't think there is one set way. I think we do know that the strike zone and analog hitting is the way to go. But as far as pitching goes, I think it's open to whatever you feel best with. And we saw some pretty solid pitching out of him. He never really gave up those big innings against Yadier.
Hey, the chat was active. They were here. And you know what? I saw a lot of people saying, hey, I could beat these guys. Or why aren't they doing this? Or how come they're doing that? Well, if you want to get on the sticks and test your skills against the best, go to compete.playstation.com. That is the way to take part in events like this. Who knows? Maybe you can be a part of a $25,000 prize pool down the line. So put your money where your mouth is, or your
And check the age requirements.
mouth where your money is. One of those two.
Or where your chatting
step
is.
up.
Put your
Yeah,
put
we
your
go.
hands
That's what we
where
want.
the chat fingers are.
That's right. Compete.playstation.com.
And there's an amazing competitive scene that's brewing in this community. There's a lot of players who could have done remarkably well in this tournament that we saw them in the field of 128. So we have to pare it down to 4. That doesn't mean that these were the only 4 that could have done it. It could have gone a lot of different ways. Hopefully this is the beginning of a robust competitive scene. We see guys like Scuffy McGee put on brilliant tournaments, just community-led tournaments. There is a lot of interest in this. And so I think we're going to see an off-season, a winter of competitive tournaments just led by the community, and hopefully ESL wants to get in on the action and continue to grow this thing because the competitive scene is bursting with action.
I love that. I host very small tournaments myself, and it's a great way to bring people in the community together. And as you said, get those competitive juices flowing. But it's definitely a game that definitely needs to be in the esports scene. And I think this was a really, really good step to hopefully bigger and better things to come. Also, speaking of bigger and better, it's Griffey Week in MLB The Show 20. You guys know that. And it's the perfect time to take part in our stub sale. Up to 50% off right now, up until Wednesday. Paul earlier said he's got a couple mil just hanging around of stubs. So we'll wait to see. We'll have to see what he does with that. And also the game itself, up to 50% off Standard Edition. And that sale ends on Wednesday. Paul, this was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you joining me. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
Had an absolute blast with you, Robert. Hopefully we get to do this again in the future because it was a lot of fun. And if you ever need somebody to commentate your tournaments, I got you.
I like that. I'll definitely consider that. Hey, we want to thank everyone for watching and taking part in the chat, especially those on twitch.tv/PlayStation. For Paul Spohr, I'm Robert Flores. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy the rest of the World Series. Thanks for watching.
Go Rays.